All right, guys. So I can't even pretend that I have my shit together tonight. I literally have had like, I don't know, 5 minutes to myself since I got home to even get this shit set up. So unfortunately, tonight's going to be kind of one of those helter-skelter, kind of half-assed, throwing everything we can together kind of nights. Is this going to be a let's shit on your stream? I mean, I wouldn't mind. Hang on, I got to skip the intro. Hang on a second. There we go. Whoa, I look like crap. I need a shower. Oh man, I'm greasy. At least I have on a clean t-shirt. That's something. That's something. Is it gonna be a shit on your stream? I mean, it could be, man. The latest and likely gayest you've ever been. It's not the latest I've ever been. It might be the gayest though. Hey, Oblivion, glad I checked again. I was about to assume no stream. Yeah, man, I just didn't have time to get the stream set up. We ended up with my daughter and my son both having practices from 7 to 9 tonight at separate fields. So I had to get, we had to go to Costco after dropping both of them off. Basically, their practices ended right around 9-ish, and so I had to run from her field right back over here and try to get them to bed and get a stream set up. So, yeah, not a whole lot of time. Hey, Lugia. Streams are perfect. Always time with server maintenance shit I'm doing. Oh, hey, there you go. So John, what layoffs in particular are you talking about? What's the price of the Steam machine? It's not good. We'll get to it. Don't worry. It's not good though. At least in my personal opinion, I think it's way, way overpriced. Especially when you can consider like you can still get a pre-built computer reasonably priced compared to the Steam machine price. Oh, Electronic Arts and Ubisoft had another round. Oh shit. Yeah, so well, around 15, but does that even include the controller? Like, I know Canadian it's like 15 without the controller. And that's like 512 gigabytes. We'll jump into the Steam stuff more or less first. I wanted to go through a few of these like shitpost things. Anyways, guys, happy Monday. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. Playing Stellar Blade right now, listening to the stream at the same time. Oh, there you go. Dude, okay, so I'm not even gonna lie, I have had a hell of a time getting back into any game, but for some weird reason, the last couple nights I've been playing like Lords of Shadow, the first one, and I'm really like I forgot how good that game was. Like I knew it was a good game, but I thought maybe I'm just remembering it like through, yeah, rose tinted glasses or whatnot. But no, man, it's honestly like Castlevania Lords of Shadow is a phenomenal game. Biggest advantage of the Steam machine is that it's uniform and Valve can force devs to optimize for it. Yeah, but come on. I mean, it's just a computer in a box. You went back to EVE Online. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Okay, well, I have a review that we'll talk about. We'll watch. I was looking through, like, Digital Foundry and a whole bunch of these other places. They have, like, 32 to 57-minute videos. And then I saw one YouTuber has, like, a 10, 13-minute video. So we'll watch that one in a minute. Surge Games, I've never even heard of those ones. I was looking the other day, I'm like, did they ever put Dante's Inferno on PC? And apparently it's like a PS2 or PS3 emulation, not an official PC port. So, I don't know. Dante's Inferno is another one that if you look at like the forums, people are like, oh, Dante's Inferno's ass. You guys are just remembering it wrong. It's like, I don't think so. All right, so let me pull this up here. Oh my God, I'm missing. Where am I? Where am I? There we are. Okay. Let me get this music killed off. Hang on a second, guys. I had just enough energy and mental capacity to get a video done this morning at work before the real shitstorm kind of hit me later in the day. Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo. Good place. I played it when it was on Game Pass when it first came out. What do you guys think? Ghostwire Tokyo. I was not enamored with it, but it's a decent game. I don't know. It wasn't for me. I can tell you that. You could comment on the first 2 minutes of IGN's review. Very thorough and fast. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I figured I would go without the IGN review just for obvious reasons, but more pissed that they don't offer a RAM-less, SSD-less version. Instead, they only sell it with 16 gigs of RAM, which you're going to replace pretty much instantly. Yeah, exactly. The bubbly Asian chick. I don't know about that one. Drunk Savage, how's it going, bud? Oh, GN. Oh, okay, not IG. I thought that was a typo. I thought you meant G or IGN. I'm like, oh my god. Gamers Nexus, yeah. So Gamers Nexus, I think that was the one that the video is like 52 minutes long, and I was like, that's a bit. I don't like watching videos that are that long on a stream. But yeah, I mean, Ghostwire Tokyo is decent. It's not a bad game for sure. If you enjoy the gameplay, if you like that kind of game, then I'd say it's definitely worth picking up. How much is it on Steam? Hang on a second. Let me pull up Steam here. Not that I'm interested in the game itself, because I know I didn't enjoy it that much. $60? Then it can't be on Steam on sale. Ghostwire Tokyo. That's insane. Unless you're buying it with Deathloop. That's expensive. Yeah, I wouldn't spend $60 on Ghostwire Tokyo. Like I said, I played it on Game Pass back in the day. Drop the link of that Gamers Nexus video. Tell it to summarize it based on transcript and then use that. Oh my god, that sounds like something the Quartering would do, man. Deathloop, dude, Deathloop is one of those games, I've commented on it before. I think if Deathloop came out now, people would be like, what is this DEI bullshit, you know? You got Ghostwire Tokyo for free in Epic. I think I have it for free as well on Epic. Hang on a second, let me check. I'm pretty sure I do, actually. I probably have Deathloop for free. I know I have a copy of Death Stranding, I'm pretty sure, on Epic. Why am I getting friend requests on Epic? I don't even use Epic. Hang on, let me see library. He'd never put in that. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Recently purchased. Let's go alphabetical. Ghostwire. Should be right here. Yep, I knew it. I knew it. Free copy. Dude, I bought Ghost Runner 2 because I love the first game so much, and then I ended up with free copies on Epic of Ghost Runner 1 and 2. Yeah, no, dude, honestly, my library on Epic has, I think, I'm not sure, I can't remember where you can find the actual total number of games. 323 for Windows. That's insane. Like, and I've never, the only game that I ever quote unquote purchased was the one that came with the graphics card. Crap, what was the name of that game? It ran like garbage on my computer when I first got it. Oh yeah, Deathloop, I knew it. Death Stranding, Deathloop. Oh my god. Dude, I've got so many games on Epic and I'm never going to play a single one of them. It's crazy. Said something about UK PM. Oh, Keir Starmer retiring or resigning or whatever? Yeah. I do it constantly if it's a long video. I mean, I can understand that for yourself. Maybe not for like streaming. you know the funny thing, NS, is that will probably get picked up by Discord's auto mods at some point, but you know, I can concur to an extent. Not gonna lie. No, I don't use Epic Angels. I just have it. So when I first built my computer, my 5600 XT came with a key for a game. And I cannot remember the name of the game itself. What was that game called? It was a decent idea. Like, the game itself was a decent idea. It just didn't run well on my computer. And after a few hours of playing it, it just wasn't very good. You deleted it? Okay, good. Like I said, I don't mind. I'm just not a lolcow. Wait. Who says I'm not a lolcow? I just stopped buying as many games as they all show up on Epic for free. But why is that stuck? But then it's like, I have all the games and I don't even play them, though. Like, come on. Kind of disappointed that Keir Starmer gets to resign without facing consequences. That's basically what NS sent me word for word. We'll just leave it at that. It's been going, dude. I'm exhausted. Like, not even kidding. Between work and life right now, I don't know how. Oh, there it is, Godfall. Yeah, Godfall's the game that I got with my actual graphics card. It's a decent game. I like the concept of it. It's like kind of like Warframe, where you kind of jump from body to body when you want to play have a different play style. The game itself just wasn't that interesting. And like I said, it ran like crap on my computer. Dead Island 2. It's just there doing its thing. Tim Sweeney be ashamed. Yeah. I have the Arkham trilogy. I think I got it as part of a Humble Bundle like thing with like 20 games I got on it. It's crazy. Anyways, no, it's going, NS. I'm glad to see you in here, bud. I'm still going to try to get the Steam Machine, even though it's expensive for what it is. Well, JG, I just don't really, for me personally, I don't see a point. I don't really understand the point of getting one. Like, okay, so somebody in the comments, I think it was on Twitter or in response to somebody, I can't remember where it was. They're like, well, you know, you're complaining about that, but, you know, a laptop or this or that. I'm like, look, I wouldn't buy a laptop either. You know, like, I hate laptops. So if your comparison is, well, it doesn't cost more than a laptop, I think laptops are overpriced pieces of garbage. Hey, Empress. Oh, Titanfall, dude. Titanfall 2 is so good. We're talking about massages again. No! Who brought that up? That wasn't me. What are you even talking about? All right. So let's go through the usual, the bullshit that I find and share. This one's not so bad, although given the fact that, guys, I turned 40 in 2 days. Oh, yes. Might as well buy a PC and PC. Yeah, exactly. So this is one of those things where this is kind of like the industry, the way that we've been kind of forced into this world that we all know now. Building your own PC is no longer going to be affordable. Sure, you go to a company or somewhere that sells pre-built computers, or you buy a custom-built computer where you physically don't get to buy the parts yourself and put your hands on it and build it yourself. It might save you money because buying the parts on their own has become completely unaffordable. But at the same time, the consoles and the pre-builts, they can charge truly whatever they want to, because even if it's cheaper than building it yourself, is it reasonably cheaper? Like, I mean, it's insane. Something that happens when queso trips. Oh my God. How do I look yellow, man? Am I yellow? I don't look too yellow tonight. Let's see. I hate the fact they shoved the store into the same platform they used for Unreal Engine. Yeah. My only PC is a Steam Deck. It's been my favorite console. Dude, Fertango was making fun of somebody, some Nintendo shill, that had sold his Steam Deck to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. The craziest part is his argument is, oh yeah, you need to sell your Steam Deck right now so you can buy a Nintendo, because Nintendo's got value with their games they have on the Switch, whereas a Steam Deck now essentially is old, worthless hardware because now the Steam Machine's coming out and the Steam Deck price is going up. It's like, I don't understand your, like, your logic isn't logicking right now. At least a pre-built, you can't upgrade the parts. Yes, that is true. That is true. Bought a secondhand PC, was worth it. Yeah, you know, good place, as long as you buy something that's been treated well, and you know, obviously whoever built it or maintained it didn't just let it sit on the ground and build up like cat hair and dust inside of it. There's no reason for a computer to stop working randomly. It's like, usually that's like a, you know, part error or something. Steam Cube isn't a Steam Deck though. Well, I don't understand what his train of thought was on the entire thing. Like, why would you sell your Steam Deck to buy a Nintendo Switch 2? It's kind of like, you know, everyone jokes about PS5 doesn't have games. Nintendo Switch 2 has games, but half of them are old Nintendo Switch 1 games. So why would you do that? I don't understand. Corpo slaves, that's kind of how it is. I bought an iPad Pro as my main computer laptop years ago, and the Steam Deck replaced my gaming laptop. See, JG, it's not even an elitist thing because I'm an Android person, whereas iPhone was like the elite smartphone back in the day, and I was the poor, the brokey who couldn't afford an iPhone, right? I've just always hated Apple. I've always hated iPhones. In the same way, it's not so much an elitist thing like, well, I have a PC, I don't need a laptop because PC is superior. I just have a personal distaste for laptops and all that kind of crap. Yeah, wise ass, I can't even imagine. Did I get Winrose? No, when am I gonna play Winrose? Guys, I can actually publicly talk about it now. The closed beta that I'm part of, because I've been part of the alpha testing for God Save Birmingham, just went live today. I could just be streaming that now because there's no longer an NDA. And that's a game that they're probably, I imagine because I've been part of the closed playtest, I'll probably get a key when the game launches. I don't know. I have no idea how that all works. I've never been this far like back in an alpha, except for Hyenas, which shut down before it went to beta. But like, I could be streaming that right now, you know? Do it. Well, I got other shit to talk about though. My point is, I don't have time for all the games that I want to buy. I told you guys, I've just now, like the last 2 nights of not really doing anything, I've sat here for like an hour and a half playing Lords of Shadow, because that game's amazing. Most games on the Switch are PEGI 3 to 12. What the hell am I supposed to do? Yeah. Okay, so the argument is, well, you know, Nintendo Switch 2 is getting Ocarina of Time remake, and I'm going to be honest, you know, Fertanga's like, I don't understand people who said that was like one of the greatest games of all time. I'm on that list of the people, the Unk Slop guys who say Ocarina of Time is one of the greatest games of all time, but I also accept the fact that if I went back and played it now compared to other modern games, I'd probably be like, yeah, this is not as good as I remember it, right? You can do both, be a real gamer. Gamer! Did YouTube eat your messages? Let me check. Oh, no, NS, the Citizen Vigilante. I've got some of the stuff brought up to talk about it. Actually, that's 100%. No, I won't. I've got that in my list of stuff to cover real quick here. But I'm not going to get a Switch 2 for it. Yeah, and furthermore, I'm not really interested in playing the remake. Like I said 6 months ago, I said a year ago, I said 2 years ago. Like at all these times I've been talking about, I'm like, look, I would have loved for the 35th anniversary of Nintendo or of Legend of Zelda for them to release the remake of that game for the Switch 1, and I might have considered buying it, right? Unfortunately, now, a couple years later down the road with the Switch 2 and all the bullshit they've been pulling, I have zero interest in it. Plus, I'm kind of remaked out. Like, to be honest, I don't want a remake at this point. I just don't. Empress, you didn't miss anything. I got this thing started super late, and we have accomplished absolutely nothing. This entire stream could be me sitting here chatting and not even moving to a single tab. I'm still sitting on my first bullshit tab for my usual Monday stuff. So sick and tired like Paul Bearer from WWF. I didn't watch much wrestling, but I think I understand. This remake era of gaming has to end exactly. I'd buy a 3DS so I can play those games again. See, I'm not a big handheld guy. I can play Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask while seeing what made them great. I mean, yeah, but it's just, my point is like, I don't know, to make them to where they're as interesting as current games, or at least games within the last 10 to 15 years, they would have to drastically change the game itself. Show us topics. Cage, you son of a bitch. I haven't cared about the original either, and if I wanted to remake, I'm gonna get an emulators. Exactly. It is what it is, man. Dude, wise ass, I'm right there with you. I did not like Majora's Mask. I did not at all, you know. Oh my god, NS.
When will I get to Dom?
When will I get to Dom? Let's try never. It's never happening. Sorry. I don't swing that way, but hey man, 21 freaking months for NS. Oh my god, dude. All right, what do I give? You know what? What's his face? Smeg isn't here, so I'm gonna give you Smeg's clip because I know that you'll appreciate it. I'm sure you two are, like-minded with this one. Here you go for 21 months for NS.
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house. Or in the ring. No, in real life.
I had every intention on adding some new clips for tonight. I actually had some saved. I had some stuff I wanted to pull up. I just didn't have time. Like today at work, I stayed at work late. I got there a little later than I wanted to this morning. Got that Stellar Blade video done, which to be honest, I'm like a week behind on, but whatever. And then I tried to get the stream ready and I'm like, I had no time for new stuff. It is what it is, you know? I know you guys understand. I'm tired. I'm lazy. No, in real life. Yes, the Irish Candyman, exactly. I knew you'd appreciate that, NS. Dude, 21 months. Thank you, man. I don't know who that wrestler is, but I love him. Oh my god. Remake is basically better resolution, but reduced soul and safe, edgy, cowardly. Yeah, I mean, good place. That's kind of the unfortunate side of it. Should you get the second part of that same high clip? Talking about where you'd skin him and make a belt out of him. Yeah, no, honestly, I need to find the longer clip of that. Just play the Barking Melanie. Oh my god, no. Not happening. I can't do it to myself, dude. Hero High video? I did not. Apparently the Anti-Stellar Blade cred's trying to pressure pay. Oh, no, I did actually. NS, I made a video on that today. So yeah, when I say I'm like a week late on the whole Stellar Blade thing, I really am. But to be honest, part of it's because I just generally don't have a lot to offer as far as like a strong opinion on the game itself. I thought the Stellar Blade game was fine. I just didn't love the game really for what it was. I don't know. You want the DSP shower support? We'll give you the shower support next time. That'll be the next one I do. All right. So As I'm turning 40 in 2 days, guys, I saw this one on Twitter and I felt this one, okay? All right, us guys in our 30s, I could feel this. Here you go. You can see the caption. I assume it says men in their 20s, right? All right. How they don't break their ankles, I have no idea. Men in their 30s. Now, this is actually incredibly relevant because my back is currently like massively fucked up from, again, a 14-year back injury I've had. And I've overdone it this year with like the sports with the kids and work and everything else. But yeah, I mean, dude, I wanted to cry when I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, this is just too accurate. I'm not going to have gout, dude. I'm skin and bones. How am I going to have gout? Okay. Isn't that mainly caused by like obesity and shit? Reason to invest in Bitcoin. If they block payment processors, we could use that. Yeah, see, Lugia, I had Ethereum and I had to sell that this winter to pay rent when money was tight because, you know, seasonal business and all that. So unfortunately, I'm not sitting on that Bitcoin. I use those fancy contractor knee pads. Dude, I don't have knee problems, but even those, I have there's no shame, okay? I 100% will use those. All right. So I saw this on Twitter. I said, this is the most cursed shit I have ever seen. My entire childhood is now ruined. I'm going to have to mute it, I think, because it is copyrighted music. But I'll play a little clip of it with some audio. Here you go, guys. This is why the Steam machine costs way too much money. Isn't gout from eating too many red meats? I think gout is, I think there's various factors, but it typically, as I understand it, I think gout typically happens with people that are overweight. Average male to fail cat. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wood, not even ashamed. Nah, guys, I can't. I'm sorry. I can say would about a lot of things, but for me, this just goes too far. Oh my God. That just crosses too many lines. I don't know. That's like borderline bestiality. We're not talking like Star Wars aliens where they're like humanoid. This thing, it's not a fat thing. It's highly regular in high red meat eaters and diabetics. Okay, type 1 or type 2, though, because type 2 diabetics also tend to be overweight. Would her coochie have fangs? I've seen that question thrown out there quite a few times. If she was 10, then it would be called predator. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, NS, you bastard. Yeah, Empress, you and me both. Bunch of degenerates in here. Highly intelligent alien with spaceship tech. If anything's bestiality from her well, okay, but still, it's still not. Oh my God, more alien shit. She's older than Arnie, so yes, predator. Everyone I know type 2 is about the same size as you. Type 2 diabetics that are not overweight. That's insane, man. That's crazy. All right. See, for me, type 1 diabetes, you just, again, situation that you're born with, and typically it's not like connected to body fat. The assumption I've always had is that people who have the dietary habits that contribute to getting type 2 diabetes tend to be overweight. Still tamer than whatever the fuck women read about in their werewolf. Yeah, that's true. You can bite your pee off. Oh my God. To be fair, human women can do that too, and it has happened before. Vagina dentata. Oh my God. All right. No laws against the aliens. Okay, but there should be. You're missing the point. There should absolutely be laws against that. All right. Here we have, instead of predator, we've got some AI alien shit. This is actually pretty funny. I'm not going to lie. Here we go. No, it's not her ass. Don't worry. Preduce. Oh my God.
Ass. Wait. Back up.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is why all of our shit's too expensive. That's exactly. Well, this at least probably isn't AI, to be fair. 21 Jump Street. Oh my god. The xenomorph's head is a giant penis. Nah, yeah. It's phallic for sure. All right, this one's just so weird. I've got no words for this. All right, here you go. I'm just gonna let it play. I got no words for this one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here's a fun one. Apparently there's something going on with the algae in the reflecting pool over in Washington D.C. Hey, H Brown. What is your Twitter timeline? It's so bad, man. My Twitter timeline is so jacked. It's not even funny. And currently I'm shadow banned. I went from like 200,000 impressions a day on Twitter to where now my Twitter account isn't being seen by anything. I had to unlock my account 2 days ago because some asshole decided to flag a meme as violent content when it wasn't. And then I had 2 posts in the past 24 hours get marked as some sort of like, oh, you know, sensitive content, which they weren't. And so now it's like I'm in Twitter jail right now, basically. So algae turned the reflecting pool to green. That's it. Send you the predator clip. All right, I'll try to make sure to save that before I end the stream later. The pool is under the attack by the woke left. No, NS, it wasn't even that. There was nothing. Nothing. Not like that at all. So yeah, apparently algae enthusiasts at the reflecting pool are talking to the algae. I am not even kidding.
Hey, honey, Team Algae, everybody's proud of you. You are single-handedly doing more to fight fascism than any American has. Yes. Let's go, Algae. Yeah, Algae. Woo! Algae! Could you turn around?
I don't even know what's going on with people these days. I have no words for this shit. Never beating the mental illness allegations. I mean, dude, the hair, the flag, the outfit, all of it, man. I'm so proud of you, Algae. Well, Empress, apparently the algae in the water is them like fighting to make because the you know, obviously the reflecting pool doesn't look pretty because the algae's kind of looking shitty in the water. They think the algae is fighting against the fascist regime or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, and it's sad. Dude, it's the Asian seals were less cringe by far. Exactly. Please push him in. Yeah. Okay. So here you go. Getting it. We're gonna segue into that movie that NS was talking about after this clip here. A female police officer in Canada apparently did exactly what you'd imagine a female police officer would do. Just imagine exactly like the worst case scenario, and that's what we have here. All right. So just so you're kind of briefed ahead of time.
The female cop just executed a random bystander trying to get away from the shooter, and when the real shooter came, she flees, leaving 2 people dead because of her incompetence. What the hell are we doing allowing female police officers? Let me watch this off stream.
Nice hit, he's hit. No, you touché.
Bro, she just pops them off. She was like this. She goes
so yeah, you can't see this in the video that he's watching because obviously it's censored. But this guy right here is the actual shooter, okay? And he ended up like against the building in the corner over here, ended up getting shot and wounded. Female officer here is hiding. This guy stands up thinking it's safe to leave, and then she turns around and literally executes the guy, not even knowing that it's not the shooter. H. Brown, I don't think they should exist in any situation at all. Like, none. Like, that's my... You want to know, like, one of my misogynistic or chauvinistic beliefs? I don't see a situation at all why we have women in emergency response when it comes to, like, things that require physical force or lethal force at all, whatsoever. Feminism and equality, yeah.
She's running away from the shooter, and then he takes over her position. She shot a random civilian.
In the case of female firefighters, I can at least make an argument that if they're physically able to lift and do the same jobs as men, it's a dangerous job, but so is being a nurse in a combat zone or something. So at least in those situations, it's not a job that requires you're not going to go into detain somebody. You're not trying to like subdue somebody with lethal force. It's a little bit different. Yeah, I mean, it's still a dangerous job. Maybe she was retarded. I mean, no, it was just one of those reacting out of fear situations. They lowered the requirements. Well, Joe Darkness, that is part of what happens. That is a net negative for sure. They show a female firefighter can't bust open a door. Well, Kanyo, in the ideal world, you'd only get the top 0.1% of those 0.001% of those women who physically are capable of doing that, because otherwise, lowering the restrictions to get a more diverse group of people into a job is it's the definition of that whole suicidal empathy. Well, we don't want to be feel bad about it. We don't want to keep people out because they can't do the job. So we're going to make the limitations lower the bar to get in. Most can't do advanced MOs whatsoever because they can't handle the same endurance training. Yeah.
And then she ran away from the actual shooter. Look, it's a stressful situation, but I mean, something's very wrong. Amelia gets shot herself. Women shouldn't be police officers. It's honestly ridiculous that we've deluded ourselves into thinking they're suited for roles like this in society. I know this will come across as insensitive, but we need to have a real conversation about frontline female police officers and infanteers. She shot a civilian and ran away when the gunman came at her. She abandoned her injured partner. I mean, if you're a 6'2" guy, right, and you're, a 24-year-old criminal, the probability of a 5'3" female officer being able to subdue you or stop you, it's zero. Like, it's just not going to happen. That's before the shooting. This is the person.
Well, Empress, the problem is here in the US, there is this systemic thing where we have lowered the requirements for how to do the job properly. And unfortunately, most of what we get in there when it comes to women they're not qualified. We are constantly seeing body cam footage or video, like cell phone footage, of female police officers in the West who cannot subdue criminals. They can't chase down criminals. They don't know how to react properly in those situations, in tense moments, and dangerous situations. And it's resulting in shit like this. There was a female police officer a couple years ago, pulled over a guy, tried to tase him, and pulled out her gun and shot him. Now, yes, male police officers have exactly the same problem where shootings happen that shouldn't happen. But if you look at the percentage, if you do like a per capita investigation into this, I wouldn't be surprised to find that women as a whole have a harder time subduing or making better split-second decisions in those situations that are like tense, dangerous moments,
This was the person, and then she immediately shoots him after this, which is fucking insane. You're basing your proof on anecdotal situations and emotional reactions. What I'm saying is that police officers often need to have the physical ability to restrain and to control suspects in different cases. A woman is not as big and strong as a man is, and because of that, she doesn't have that capacity. And also,
the naval captain in was it New Zealand that literally ran her ship aground. Exactly. Well, but it presents itself as a gender issue because the only women that seem to be in those roles of positions of authority are not doing a great job, it seems. And it could be because we've lowered the standards. Like I said, you might find the 0.001% of women who are qualified to do the job. The problem is that's not who's currently doing the job. Play the DSP clip. The shower support. I got to switch to the other screen for Smeg with the 5 gifted. Dude, I got to get the other screen. Give me a sec. We'll finish this video.
Engineered over millions of years to have faster reaction time, to have better eye-hand coordination, and to be able to respond to things like this faster than women can.
And again, I agree with him here. And at the same time, the part of me that has seen so many bad police shootings committed by men, well, what Empress is saying is correct. Men screw up all the time too. I'm not anti-police in the respect that we need to have law and order and people that can enforce it. I am anti-police state, right? So many times when you see these police abuse their authority because they know that they can get away with it because like police unions and shit. And I have a brother who's been a police officer for like 15 years. Unfortunately, there are not millions of police officers just like him who I would trust with my life, where unfortunately they will push it to a point where they will commit crimes themselves and get away with it because of police unions. Anti-incompetence, yeah.
Because a woman can't go out there, that doesn't mean they can't do investigative work. And I think that women can play that role really well. And being a police officer, being an infantryman, and being a fireman, these require men. There shouldn't even be a conversation about this. By the way, she was looking directly at the suspect before shooting the random guy. Unless they told her there were multiple suspects, it makes no sense. Let me see, can I pull this up? Yeah, that's...
Yeah, and exactly. So this is where the suspect was. It was one suspect who, I guess, opened fire on police officers and stuff. And she's like way, like, probably like 100 feet on the other side of some of the columns and pillars. And the dude literally thought he could just get up and leave. And she just completely, like, offs the dude. It's insane. Crazy. Let me switch back to the other screen, though. Hang on. Yeah, Kanyo, it's like, here's the thing. We can argue about the competence, incompetence of men versus women, but that doesn't bring that guy back who got killed, executed by a police officer due to her incompetence, right? So at least what we have to do is have a conversation about the qualifications or the ability that she has to get that job and what led to her being hired and being put in that situation where she didn't have the proper training on how to react, right? It doesn't do us any good to worry about men versus women because that dude's dead. Like, at the end of the day, he's not coming back because of somebody else's fuck up. I mean, that's just reality. All right, Smeg, for the 5 gifted, I'm going to give you a couple clips. I already played Hassan for NS, but you're going to get that plus another one. Hang on.
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker? I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house. Or in the ring. No, in real life.
All right, guys. Here comes the shower of support. All right, let's continue. Here we go. Okay, folks, welcome back.
Smeg, again, thank you for the 5 gifted, buddy. Appreciate the hell out of you, man. I mean, why is that stuck? But again, that goes back to my point. My point is the majority of women are not qualified to do the job. So if the argument is if they don't have to lower the requirements and any of those women that are qualified can get the job, I guess that's a different conversation to be had. You know, if we don't like the blanket statement of only men can do this job, women aren't allowed, the women at least need to be able to do everything the men can do. That doesn't mean men aren't going to screw up from time to time. That absolutely happens. Here, just for a Steam machine price. No worries, Matt Adam. There's a professional women's soccer team played against a teenage boys soccer team. Yeah, it was the U.S. women's team. They had lost to like a bunch of like 8th graders or something. Yeah. Look at the female bodybuilders versus average men and they struggle to keep up. Well, yeah, no, that's a reality. So we're not talking about like the top 0.01% of women. We're talking about look, there should never be a fat cop, but I've seen fat cops. And that's a problem with the fact that nobody wants the job. So they have to lower the standards for people who get in. But then you take that one step further and you go, what else? What, like, are they lowering IQ? Are they taking people that have psychological evaluations that are less than, advisable? Like, there's a lot of, oh my God. Whew, I managed to escape from that incel mass shooter. And then you got the female cop outside the building. Oh my God. Somebody's saying it was some guy that was pro-Palestine. Propaganda games are already in full swing. Leftoids are saying that she didn't shoot him, that the shooter didn't target a Jewish neighborhood, which he did, although the shooter is white, therefore this must be far right-wing violent. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to figure out who this was or why. Like, I'm not even going to try to begin to get to the bottom of that. Okay, so should have seen some of the heifers in the Navy. No, so Cage, honestly, like my brother, when he joined the military, so he's been in almost 20 years. So this would have been like early 2000s, right? And he went through ROTC as an almost 30-year-old. He turned 30 in ROTC. So that was one of those things where he had a hard time keeping up,
Of course, there will be more instances of male incompetence in these roles, as the majority, or has been the majority, of men fulfilling these roles.
Well, yeah, and again, I think that has you have to go back to the per capita. It's like, of course, more men are going to have a overall total number of more bad shootings because it's a job that's predominantly male, so your percentages are going to reflect that. The question is, in the same situation, can the average woman respond as, equally or better than the average man. Well, and Empress, the thing is that you can't just shoot people. we're not talking about strength, weapons, even things out. Yes, but okay, we're not talking about a situation where you're talking about marksmen and sharpshooters. We're talking about situations where you physically have to detain a suspect or somebody who's resisting arrest. We have this thing in the US where you can't just shoot somebody for resisting arrest. I know some people would prefer that. There are days that I would probably go along with that. But in general, it's like unless somebody is using lethal force, as a police officer, you're not allowed to respond with lethal force without them actually having a threat of harm to other people, right? Kanyo, I think the movie's probably garbage, but I find the whole discourse around it hilarious. So again, in a situation where lethal force is not advisable or being a factor, can they do the exact same job as as well as a man? I don't know. Anyways, there's this movie that featuring Army Hammer, and thanks for the 5, Smeg, appreciate you, dude. Called Citizen Vigilante. It's from Uwe Boll. I'm sure you guys all know Uwe Boll. He's the horrible video game movie director. I don't know, has Uwe ever had a good movie? Like, honestly, I've seen a few of his films, and they've all been garbage. I don't know if there's actually a good one or not, but it's apparently been banned in parts of Europe. Yeah, Uwe Boll, dude. Wise ass duck. Wise ass duck, it's Uwe Boll. Yes. No, it's, he's making a sequel for House of the Dead. His first film. What was his first film? Because all I know of Uwe Boll is a bunch of like really bad video game adaptation movies. Men were hunting and women sat at home on their fat asses eating chocolate. No, see, Tekla, at least back then, women were not sitting at home eating chocolate on their fat asses. I mean, they were doing everything around the house and maintaining like order and all that at home. Say who? Korean Cowboy. He's a really strange director. It only makes bad movies. He never did. Okay. So this account here says the film was banned in Germany. I just watched it. It opens with a brown man suddenly randomly stabbing a white mother in the neck as her little boy watches her die. The plot: an American vigilante in Europe is executing foreign rapists and the judges that let them off. That, to me, that kind of sounds like an old movie with Michael Douglas called Star Court, where basically this group of judges got sick of people who were getting away with crimes because of a technicality. And so they decided that after a court case goes, basically in favor of the perpetrator due to a technicality, they would get together and vote on who needed to actually be punished and hire a hitman to take that person out, It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. In Canada, we have zero tolerance for police shooting unarmed people, but it's a woman. We'll see if instead it's this poor officer is in a high stress situation. Meanwhile, every other situation, that cop gets mobbed. Yeah, that is going to be interesting, I guess. His films are a good watch when drunk. Well, John, unfortunately, I'm like never, ever, ever drunk. So, live action Tetris with rated R for disturbing images. Norm MacDonald's joke, I believe it was exactly as I described. I mean, maybe not the sitting on their fat asses eating chocolate, but yeah. To be fair, I approve of that message. Judges become too regarded nowadays. Yeah. So, says the film pulls no punches. There are cutscenes to a news report that talks about migrant crime. Vigilante quotes Nietzsche and says he's doing this for you, the people of Europe, until they can rise up and do it for themselves, and says everything you were taught was a lie. There were also cutscenes of various influencers talking about him saying we need this in Italy and Canada and America. The messaging is explicit. It feels like the director is putting out a very clear message with this film. It almost feels like he's encouraging what he presents. The vigilante scenes featured show him executing a judge who let the gang walk away, interfering with what appears to be a Jewish man's plot to spike drinks, but the payoff is the final scene. An entire Arab migrant family is executed for essentially covering up or helping the youngest son and the grooming gang situation. The clip, I'm not going to play it because it's too brutal. Like, I'm sure it'll get copyright struck on YouTube anyways. He's got this family held hostage, and he basically knows that all these people, like the grooming gang people in Europe and in the UK, are going to be coming to this house for like a lawyer meeting or something. And so as they come in, he literally executes them all one by one. It's like 20 dead people in the room. Vigilante. Isn't that how you say vigilante? Feels like a Punisher movie. Well, Lugia, my question is, isn't this a situation where it's kind of like, I said I feel like this is a psyop. I feel like this is some sort of weird. Check IMDb. His highest rated movie is Rampage. Rampage, isn't that the one with the gorilla and the Rock? Am I thinking of the right movie? No worries, Empress. Needs to be sent to Rochdale. Too many PDFs. Oh my god, yeah. So it's a documentary on current day UK. Basically, Cage, the inspiration for the movie, as I understand it, is probably the situation with the grooming gangs in the UK. Drop the U. Vigilante. Vigilante. Fine. I'll go vigilante on your ass. Didn't modern takes of the Punisher make him a cuck and his wife hates him, which ruins the whole point of why he became Punisher because too many cops liked him? So if you go back to like the John Travolta, and I'm not a comic book guy, guys, you know this. I'm not a big comic guy. I'm a normie when it comes to comic shit, MCU and all that. But like the old like John Travolta Punisher movie that I saw years ago, I think it was with the Thomas Jane one or whatever. That one, his family gets murdered, which is why he becomes the Punisher. I don't know about him becoming a cuck from his wife or something like that. That's crazy. I have no idea. It says, is it a good film? Directed by Uwe Boll, notorious for awful films. This one certainly has its issues. Several scenes drag on for too long. Timeline jumps back and forth. As for our protagonist, he quotes Nietzsche, has daddy issues, and screws prostitutes. There's an entirely unnecessary drawn-out sex scene with him and a hooker. He also caused, that's probably the director's fetish. Okay. He causes an unnecessary fatal car crash to make a point. My final verdict is a bit of a mess, cringe in places, but the novelty of a white male protagonist explicitly hunting down migrant criminals for street justice was so refreshing. People pointed out, they're like, but he's killing white people. It's like he's killing judges. So I don't know. I don't know. Too many 5 foot nothing females in police. Oh, we're still talking about the cops. Okay. I heard modern cops retcon a lot and make the Punisher pathetic because they hate that. So, yeah, JG, I know that the comic book, current day comic book Punisher, they dropped him with guns and with the skull logo because apparently that was like too pro cop or something. I have no idea. An Aussie telling a U.S. cracker how to speak. No, that's funny. You can't call me a cracker. Oh, I guess we can. We're all white. Never mind. Uwe Boll's an exploitation style director, so I'm not surprised with this style of movie making. I'm telling you, this feels like a psyop, okay? Yeah, this scene here is where he's got the family held at gunpoint. I'm not gonna play it again. They say that basically it's they can't go back to their country because it's dangerous there, and how they're teaching their values to their kids, and he's like, this is your values. This scene here, he's got this judge drugged and I guess detained in his car. And he's like, the laws are meant to protect the victims, not the perpetrators. He looks at the judge who let 6 boys walk after this and says, you're the cancer that's killing society. And then he kills him. It's like, I don't know if this movie was intended to make him look like a psychopath or a hero, but it's absolutely insane. Uwe Boll should work in the video game industry. He'll be the next David Cage. I don't know about that. Thomas Jane becomes Punisher because the police basically refuse to do anything about it. Yeah. Hookers are people too. God. If I say that on YouTube, I probably will get banned. Anyways, Uwe Boll made an edgelord main character. Yeah, basically is what he was going for. Again, I don't know if it's him trying to like portray him as like the good guy or like the sociopath or whatever. Yeah, I don't want my country to be dangerous either. Well, actually, in the movie, though, in the clip that I saw, he's like, so, you know, the people fleeing your country obviously weren't the good ones. We got the shitty ones. Basically, is like the long and the short of what he says. And I'm like, that actually, unironically, hey, who was it that said I can't say unironically? Was it, I think it was Wagonburner on Twitter said, basically, I'm not allowed to say unironically anymore. But, I mean, it was a pretty based line, you know? Need to rewatch The Punisher again. Isn't that the one where John Travolta is the villain and he plays like he's like closeted gay or something? Which ironically, not unironically, but ironically, is kind of like John Travolta in real life. I think the logic is extreme problems need extreme solutions. I mean, Kanyo, here's the thing. I've said this for a long time now as somebody who is very much pro Second Amendment. At the end of the day, The problem with the Second Amendment is that we also have a government that'll lock you up for treason, right? And treason is anything that is trying to attempt to overthrow the current government, right? That's what treason is, conspiring against the current government. But the entire point of the Second Amendment is to remove the current government when they become tyrannical. So it's like, what do you do? Obviously, in the case of, people who are trying to overthrow the government, you don't care if they're going to arrest you or shoot you because you believe enough is enough. These guys have got to go. I just find it funny that's even talking or trying to conspire about overthrowing the government will get you thrown in jail for treason. But it's like, but that's the entire point of the Second Amendment is when you believe the government's become tyrannical, you have to be able to remove them. So he's gay now. I mean, John Travolta, I guess, has always been kind of gay. I mean, I think that goes with the whole Scientology thing or whatnot. I'm pretty sure he's a Scientologist. I know Tom Cruise is a massive Scientologist, but I'm pretty sure John Travolta's always been also. All right. Moving on, getting closer to talking about Steam. It's a catch-22. It's like the whole sex work is good, but you shame men for using sex work. Whereas I think sex work's not work. It's just it kind of, I guess if you get paid for it, it's kind of work. But you know what I'm saying. Anyways, Steam has a new game that costs $1,000 and takes just 10 minutes to complete. Congratulations on your purchase. Says the price is not a mistake. It's the point. Now, guys, here's the craziest thing. This is a real game. If you look this up on Steam, what is the name of this game? What did I just say it was called? Congratulations on your purchase. Here we go. If they haven't taken this down, yeah, it's still there. Will Smith too. Oh, dude, they're all gay. I mean, let's be fair. Most anybody is gay in Hollywood. Yeah, 10 minutes just refund. A lot of people have said that, but you still have to have the $1,000 available to spend on like a credit card or whatever. And so essentially, this is all it is. I'll just play the little 38 seconds for you here. You could have bought a flight, a watch, a weekend away. You bought this. This is like Earth 2. You just squiggle your name on the wall, apparently. Congratulations on your purchase. That's insane. I want to see somebody actually purchase this. It could be you. Just another money laundering game on Steam? Yeah. Yeah, and the funniest part is that there's actually no current user reviews on it. I mean, wait, 3 curators have reviewed this product. How do you review it? I guess you can just put on your curation page. It's either money laundering or some fucking Mr. Beast show. Wow. Okay. So, game is perfect for streamers. It's perfect for the Steam machine, as it turns out, guys, because holy shit, this is nuts. Suckerborn every minute that would buy this shit. That's kind of what I'm thinking, man. That is kind of what I'm thinking. All right. So, just to make sure I got all the details correct on this, I wanted to just watch like the best summary, shortest video I could find on the Steam machine that was revealed today with the specs and current pricing and all that good stuff that we've been speculating about for a while. So David 2D, 3.7 million subscribers. I don't know. I don't watch this kind of stuff, but seems to be a decent comprehensive video talking about the specs of the machine and everything else and the price. So we'll give this a listen, and if there's anything that we haven't seen before, then obviously this will kind of fill in some of the gaps. Oh, let me switch screens here. Hang on a second. And we'll go full screen. Tier 10 stream goal. Oh my God. Dude, imagine DSP. Somebody needs to get DSP to make that game a goal, like a tier goal or whatever.
This is the Steam Machine, and ever since they announced it last November, I've been so excited for this to come out because I love small form factor gaming systems. I've built many of them over the years, but they've never been able to do what this machine does. The Steam Machine delivers an amazing gaming desktop experience as well as an amazing console experience, and something that I don't think any other system can pull off. So,
Smeg, you're preaching to the choir, but again, I'm anti-laptop, I'm anti-console. I mean, you can own a I own a couple consoles. Like, they're convenient for what they are. But if you're trying to create the PC experience and put it into a console, just buy a fucking PC. Sounds like a glazing vid. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Most of the videos that are out there that are much longer are like, oh my God. So I just want to see one that's more of a comprehensive breakdown. He'll get to the price stuff at some point.
Even the way you would boot it up, you pick up the controller, hit a button on it, and the machine wakes up. It'll automatically turn on a TV. It'll switch the TV to the right input. And then within seconds, your Steam library is on screen, ready to play. And
my Xbox does that. I'm not quite sure. You are right about the glazing. Not sure what people were expected. I mean, if the machine came out 6 months ago, I don't think anybody would have expected it to be $1,500. I can tell you that.
It's got a very intuitive UI. There's no Windows 11 slop, and it's all run off a small, quiet cube that is powerful enough to play basically every game. It's powered by a semi-custom AMD chip. It's got 16 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of VRAM. Now, by default, games on the Steam machine are set to run at 1080p, and at
16 gigs of RAM. I'm sorry, that is just beyond awful. Computer switched on my TV. It's what a crazy thing to be impressed by in 2026. I just can't even. Okay, gaming frame rate 1080p. Now again, I am not a frame rate whore. Hey, never more form. So I don't care. Like, I don't care if I'm getting 60 frames per second or 120. I don't care. To me, as long as the game looks good and runs fine, I do not care. I don't need to have like ultra high graphics and everything. I'm cool with everything looking decent and running well on my computer. Here you have one. You've got the RTX 4060 desktop. Let's say Space Marine 2, you're getting 87 frames versus 67 with the Steam machine. The 7600 is getting 77. Jump down to like, let's see, Assassin's Creed Shadows, nobody cares. They couldn't even do Assassin's. Look, they misspelled Assassin's Creed. How do you get a typo when you're making a video that gets this many views? Hopefully this wasn't him that did this, because that's terrible. Don't type, come on, man. Black Myth Wukong. Steam machine's only getting 38 frames. My computer gets way more. Like 50 for this one. My computer's getting more than that. That's insane. 18 FPS is best.
that resolution, games run well.
Cube named Frank. Oh my god, a cube named Frank. Oh my god, no.
Faster than a Steam Deck, and from my testing, that is fair. I am getting roughly 5 to 6 times the performance of the Steam Deck. Now, you can always increase resolution and pump up graphic settings depending on what you're trying to target. But
16 gigabytes is actually usable under the Steam operating system. We all have conditioned to have 32 gigs because Windows eats RAM. I've got 64. Now mine's DDR4 versus DDR5. Obviously, there's a generational difference. Frank Skin win. Oh my god.
But out of the box, this thing delivers 60 frames per second or more for every single game that I tried, and that's without adjusting any settings. Now, back in November, Valve also made 2 other claims. The first was that the hardware in the Steam machine is equal to or better than 70% of what people game on currently.
You don't get to call me T-Woo.
I went and looked at the most recent Steam hardware survey, and yeah, I think that holds up right now. The most common GPUs out there are 3060s and 4060s, and there's a big chunk of devices that are weaker than that. So it does seem that the Steam machine is equal to or better than 70% of the existing gaming hardware out there, at least according to Steam surveys. Now, the other claim that Valve made back in November was that you should be able to hit 4K 60 on most Steam games using AMD's FSR. And you can get there, like you can hit 4K 60, but often with the lowest presets and aggressive upscaling doing most of the work. Now, depending on the game.
So here's my issue with this, okay? This is as somebody who's a computer guy. So I am all for, as a computer guy, you know, when you're playing a game that doesn't run as well on, like, again, turn down the shadows, turn down the lighting and everything, all those other effects, particle effects and stuff if you need to make the game run better. That's not shit I want to think about if I have a console, right? That if I am buying a console, which is what the Steam machine is basically selling itself as, it's the console for the everyday man, then why are you're telling me that you're going to buy a console and then have to worry about changing the setting? No. The beauty of a console is that the games are supposed to be optimized to perform on that console the way that they are. I don't know, guys. I don't know why anybody would spend their money on this. I really don't. I don't get it.
Image quality at 4K with FSR can look good in some games, but...
Well, no, I know it's being pushed as a PC, Susano, but it's being pushed as a PC for people who don't want to hassle with a PC. It's like the console gaming PC, you know what I'm saying? At least that's the way I've interpreted it. As I understand it, that was the entire point of this was, well, you can have your Steam library, but it's on a console now. So you can just plug it into your TV and treat it like a console, even though it's technically a PC. Yeah, but see, Angels, I don't even think about my refresh rates. I don't worry about hell, but I bought this monitor, this curved, nice monitor before, like around Christmas time. It was the first time I upgraded my monitor since I built my computer 7 years ago. And I don't even know what refresh rate it's currently on. I know it has like a really high refresh rate. I guarantee that I don't have it set as high as it can go, and I don't care, I never saw it like that. Retarded console guys just kept pushing that idea. Well, maybe it's their fault then.
Other games not so much, and same with ray tracing. This system is capable of ray tracing, but AMD's GPUs are typically not as good as NVIDIA's GPUs when it comes to handling that kind of technology. So in general, I would set my expectations of this device as a 1080p machine. It's not like some 4K beast machine, it's an excellent 1080p device. And a big part of that comes from...
But hey, Vernum, if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you just buy a pre-built computer with relatively similar specs? You know what I'm saying? Unless you don't want the hassle of having to have a computer desk in your kid's room from, or whatever. I've got a Steam-like PC on my desk I'm building, 16 gigs, R5 5500, 512 gigabytes, RX 65. Yeah, I've got a 5600 XT is what I started with on my computer, and that thing worked the only reason I swapped it out was because the 9060 was affordable, and it has the ray tracing, and 5600 XT doesn't have ray tracing. So, foot-loving drunken vampire. Yeah, I kind of assumed when I saw the pink name, because that didn't change, but and then calling me T-Boo, I kind of put two and two together. Just go to MetaPC, insert ad here. I mean, guys, that's not even like me trying to shill. But honestly, the way that things are currently going, I don't understand buying this instead of a pre-built. Like, if we were to go to like a site like MetaPCs or Starforge or any of the other competitors that are out there, you're probably going to spend less money on a pre-built PC with similar or better specs than this thing, 1440p if you have the hardware, 2160 is just stupid resolution the industry keeps pushing, but isn't good gaming res. Because I wouldn't want my kid to do more than mainly gaming. I wouldn't know what I did back then. Well, Avernum, that's true, but at the same time, can't you treat this like an actual computer? Like they say, it runs like as a Linux PC, right? So I assume this has like a browser feature and everything else built in like a computer has.
From the fact that this only has 8 gigs of VRAM. Now this...
So, Lugia, the problem with gaming PCs so for example, let me give you a little bit of my own anecdotal story. I bought for my kids' first computer because, they needed a computer for homeschool. And, my son wanted to start playing computer games and I needed something that would actually run computer games. I bought a Lenovo gaming PC from Costco. Now, it didn't cost me much because it was Costco. It was like $700. Had a 3060 in it, a really shitty processor, I don't know, like 16 gigs of RAM, but, the bare bones minimum kind of thing. After barely made it just over a year, the damn thing, the GPU got bricked and I had to take the parts out and rebuild what my computer for my kid is now, which is basically a custom built because I built it from scratch with a few of the old parts and a few of the parts I have from my first PC build that I've rebuilt a few times. At the end of the day, the problem with a lot of like the cheaper, like the Walmart, the iBuyPower, those kind of pre-builts, is the other parts that are in them are garbage. So yeah, you might see the name brand GPU and the Intel or AMD, the CPU, but a lot of the other shit is going to be really poor quality,
was a hardware decision or a hardware choice that was very contentious because 8 gigs is like the minimum. So 8 gigs of VRAM is still the most common amount of VRAM on Steam, and 1080p is still the most common resolution that people play in, and you could argue that 8 gigs of RAM is enough for 1080p, but it's at the cusp of being enough because there are games that if you crank the graphic settings, like if you want like higher textures, more advanced textures, it chokes at even 1080p resolution. And who knows about the future, right? This is a system that's supposed to last several years. I just feel like 8 gigs is literally the bare minimum and they just went with it. Native 1440p with higher textures can be rough on performance depending on the game, and native 4K resolution is only going to be playable with very light titles. But at 1080p, Fantastic system. Now, it's a very quiet and energy efficient system. I've had it running for hours with good temperatures and low fan noise.
Oh, good. So there's not going to be another PS4 or whatever. I have iBuy power. I plan on replacing a lot of shit when AI bubble bursts. Yeah, in never form. That doesn't mean that an iBuy power PC is going to crap out the minute you play it. I'm just saying I know that part of the appeal of, you know, what people don't realize when they're seeing those, because again, I can go to Costco right now and get a 5080 with 32 gigs of RAM, terabyte of memory storage, and it might be like an MSI brand or whatever. And you know, those PCs might be anywhere from like, I don't know, $18 to $2,000 and then be on sale for $300 off, right? So make your own PC. I've never bought a pre-built. I mean, dude, I've bought like the Dell desktop and like office computers, and then I bought that one PC. The 3 PCs I have in my house, I've built all from scratch. But that's after years of tinkering and years of having other pre-builts and stuff too. The one I have at work, the Meta PC I have at work, is a pre-built with a 6500 XT. I can't remember what the processor is, and I think it's an Intel. And it runs just fine. It runs beautifully. But again, you're not talking about your standard, what you find in a box store kind of parts. Like all the parts in the PC I see, and I know what they are because I've used other parts that are either the same brand or similar. I've taken it apart, added a couple things like RAM and secondary SSD, and most of what's inside is not as cheap as many would think. Oh, HPs are terrible. HPs and Lenovo, dude, fuck Lenovo. Like that thing, it lasted a year and the GPU got bricked. And my kid wasn't doing anything crazy on it. It wasn't like he was like trying to overclock stuff or anything. It was just nuts. PS5 is noisy also. I don't own one. All I remember was people were talking about like the PS4. I mean, it sounded like a plane taking off, I guess, back in the day. What did Kanye say? Joe Darkness, the only time I bought a pre-built is when the GPUs were rare. I got the PC for free according to prices of the single. So Joe Darkness, that's the thing. If I went to Costco right now and bought one of their upper end PCs, you cannot on your own buy all the parts that are in those computers. This is my point about them. They're basically pushing people out of the ability to build your own PC from scratch. All the parts in those PCs at Costco separately would be far more expensive than buying the computer already assembled at Costco. That's intentional because they don't want you to be able to buy those parts on your own anymore. They're getting all hogged up by all the pre-builts and all the AI shit and everything else. Got the lucky non-defective unit. Yeah, John, I have complete and utter disgust and disdain for laptops, but I'm glad it works for you, man. I personally hate laptops. Hey, QC. Main reason I bought the iBuy is because Walmart, and I have a lifetime discount to Walmart where I get 10% on anything I buy with these swipe. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing, dude. That's kind of like the benefit of shopping at Costco is you pay the membership and you get all that money back when you shop there. So, threw my hat in the ring for 2 terabyte with controller. Oh my God, that's going to cost you like what, $2,000? Yeah, wise ass. They don't last, and it's more than that. It's like I feel like laptops are designed like cell phones to basically last like a year or two and then just start crapping out.
It's quieter than a PS5 or an Xbox for sure. And for a system this size with this kind of performance, the cooling system is very impressive. To open it up, it's just a few screws to remove. And once you do, you can see the massive heatsink that's in here and also the big chunky fan on the back of the device that is moving the air. And because it's such a big fan, it doesn't have to spin super fast, but to remove a relatively large amount of air. And so the air will suck in from the front of the device as well as the bottom of the device. And it sucks it through and then blows it out the back. And also, if you look at the bottom here, you'll see that this is where the storage drive is. So if you ever need to replace it or upgrade it, you have that. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to are the antennas. There are 4 antennas on this thing, and you might be thinking, why do I need a super sweaty Asian guy showing?
Wise ass duck, exactly. That'd be me if I had a laptop. It would never be unplugged, you know? That's a massive cooler. It is a big cooler for sure.
The antennas on a Steam machine. It is very cool. So there's a total of 4. 2 of them are for Wi-Fi. They've positioned them very well. So there's one that runs on the top, so this is the front of the device here, and this would be the back towards me. So there's a Wi-Fi antenna that runs along the side up to the top, and there's another one that runs along the side, and then there's kind of...
Still 120 millimeters?
There's also 2 other antennas. One is dedicated for Bluetooth connections, so there's no interruption.
That's funny. It looks bigger than that. Yeah, I've never owned 140 millimeter. All of my fans in all my computers are 120.
option or interference with the Wi-Fi. And then a fourth one that is the antenna specifically for the Steam controllers. So this has internal hardware.
Things like
so
this
you
will have
don't
better
need
resale
the
value.
puck or the dongle thing that normally comes with the Steam controller to be able to play with it. It just connects.
Yeah.
You just connect a wire.
Now I've got
and it
three
knows
intake
it does a
three,
little thing, and then now you can just use
four-
the Steam controller without any.
Four
kind
intake
of,
three
dongle,
exhaust.
which is not new in the console world, but is kind of new in the PC gaming world. I kind of like that. It's just a cleaner setup. Now,
Game
because
from
these are
bed,
all
oh my God.
separated, I've noticed that the latency, I mean, the Steam controller latency is already awesome, but the Bluetooth controller latency, if you've played with Bluetooth controllers and you have a download going and there's often, very often, you can tell that there's interference and you will just, you'll work around it. But because it's a separate connection or a separate antenna, it is a massive improvement for Bluetooth controllers running off of this system. When you disassemble it further, you can see that there are 2 RAM
Yeah,
slots, so it's
basically this
upgradable RAM.
entire
And if you
first
flip
half
that
of this video is either making excuses for or glazing the hell out of the system. Game from bed, yeah. We call it that, right?
over, you can see the motherboard and the 2 chips, the CPU and the GPU. The front plate is magnetic, and let me just slot this back in real quick. The default plate is this black one here, and it attaches like so. But in the 2 terabyte bundle box, it came with 2 other plates. There is a
I mean, to be fair, if I got one of these for free, I might glaze the hell out of it too. I don't know.
red one that is this red velvet looking plate, which I personally don't love, but depending
looks
on
terrible.
your decor,
I
you
love-
might
I
make
love
this work. And I think
multicolor
it's the
shit, and that
color
looks terrible.
of, like the Valve, I don't know, like that orangish, reddish color that they have on their Valve logo. And there's also this wooden plate that I actually like.
Yeah, it's
This
kinda
to
cool.
me feels like if you have the right space for it, it just looks better than the black. But the fact that you can swap out plates so readily and so easily, you know that it's gonna be a
Cool.
ton
So
of
apparently I'm laying on Avernum's stomach right now. That's very I didn't need to know that.
He's making cool things like this.
Wood is
making
always
skins.
best.
The D brand,
Except for
companion
Avernum
cube
right
is
now, don't do
arguably
that.
The best
What the
thing
hell
out
is
there.
that?
It's super cool and very well done. Now below the faceplate is this RGB strip. You can set up to this rainbow lighting thing, or you can make it pulse. You can make
Oh
it super
my
bright,
God,
you can
Joe
kill it.
Darkness, that's
and
terrible.
when you're downloading stuff, it works as a progress bar. The I/O
Marathon
ports
inspired
work
look.
like a regular PC because it is a regular PC. If you wanted to set this thing up as your very tiny gaming desktop, it works wonderfully for that. Just plug up your mouse and keyboard and let it rip. There's USB-C in the back, but this is not Thunderbolt. It's just regular USB-C connection. Now this,
I didn't play Portal, dude. So to me, that thing just looks gay, all right?
at the front, has a micro SD slot. And if you pop it out, you'll see there's a little card. You can pull this out from your Steam Deck with all your games and just
Looked
throw
like
it
some
in. There's
crap
no
from
configuration
Overwatch.
or anything necessary. It just automatically reads it as your
Oof,
game drive.
that
So,
sucks, Joe
Steam
Darkness.
machine, very cool. However, we need to talk about
Where have I
its
been?
price. When
I've
this
told you
thing was
guys where
announced
I've
in
been.
November, I estimated it to be a $700 to $800 machine. That's what I thought it would be based on what.
Okay, QC, I stopped playing Mario when it went 3D, okay? I played Mario 2, although I never owned a copy of it. Mario 3, obviously, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and I never owned like the Yoshi's Island games. That was it. I stopped after that, all right? Hey, Truth. Yeah, so there's a lot of games out there, man. I had a very, very small, like, I have like a dozen NES games I had growing up, like maybe less than that for Super NES. My mom hated video games and we didn't have any money. So I didn't exactly buy a whole lot of games when I was a kid. QC, I am currently playing through Castlevania Lords of Shadow, which was a goated game. So I do play good games when I'm not streaming.
The market was at the time. It is not that price. This has an official price tag of $1,049 US for the base model with 512 gigs of storage. There's a 2 terabyte version as well as bundled versions for both of these. Now, my first reaction when I found out the price, and keep in mind, I'd been testing this thing for about a week before they landed on a price and let me know. But when I found out, I was like,
I didn't like it, Angels. I don't know. That was like the first jump to all those like three-dimensional games, and I loved, obviously, Ocarina of Time on the N64. I don't know. By that point, guys, when did that game come out? I got to think how old I was. I just kind of outgrew Mario as a franchise. I still love the originals. Like I can go back and play the originals, and I don't feel like, oh, this is a little kid game. But like the 3-dimensional ones, I don't know.
Like, what? 1,049 for a
Oh,
system
yeah.
that has
Dante's
8
Inferno
gigs of
was
VRAM?
awesome.
Like, that seems crazy. And it was just so much higher than what I was like hoping and expecting it to be. And I just immediately looked into the cost of building your own. And right now it does seem like it would be a similar cost to go that route. And
I was 7 when I last played a Mario game. Yeah, see, exactly. Dude, okay. From PC Part Picker, if you built a comparable computer on your own right now, it would only cost you $1,180. That's insane. Even with the price of RAM. Now, what is it? Does he have DDR4 or he's got DDR5 in here? 16 gigs of DDR5 for $240. Yeah. Is he going to buy 2 of them? I don't know. I saw a clip earlier today. DSP already has 2 gaming computers, and apparently his wife has a computer that's like barely struggling to function, I guess. I don't know. No, Slavicum, somebody keeps talking about Blades of Fire in my replies, like on my comments on my videos and stuff, and that's one of those ones I think I might have on my wish list on Steam. I don't know. To make a subcompact, it'd be expensive. Numbers are there, sure, but the standardization changes everything, in my honest opinion. How so? Are we talking like just throwing this together wouldn't be the same as buying the like already done, like the Steam machine, or what? Yeah, the other has the capture card, exactly. Smaller you go, the higher the price. Oh, well, for sure, QC, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, man. Everything I've ever built is either a mid or a mini. Okay, I can't remember what's smaller, micro or mini, because I did the second smallest for my wife's computer and my kids upstairs. Mine is just a normal mid-tier tower. Oh, dude, RAM has gotten insane, man. It's just nuts.
to be fair,
As a demo?
Valve had said right off the rip
I'll
that they
check
were
that
not
out.
trying to target console pricing as much as we wanted to. They were trying to target desktop pricing. Now, there are a bunch of advantages if you have your own like custom build, right? You can control your budget. If you want a more expensive GPU, you want more VRAM, you can do all that and you can trim back on stuff that you don't need. Like if you have a drive of your own, you can just do it and adjust your budget, and it's a fully upgradable system. There's obviously a bunch of advantages, but the one thing, the big thing that you'll never have that the Steam machine does have is the tuning. Valve has dialed in the CPU, the operating system, the drivers, the firmware, all of it for this specific hardware configuration. So all the power management, the fan curves, the sleep.
Yeah, this is where you get into the optimization side of it. It's a machine built by the operating system developers who also own the store that will sell it and the games you play on it. The devs will be pushed to optimize for that exact setup. It's $29 on GOG right now. I'll have to take a look at that. I don't need to buy another game, guys, to be honest. I'll just throw it on my wish list. Yeah, I think I'll have to add the demo to my library. Quite a challenging game. Well, then maybe I shouldn't play it.
Wake, the way that the controllers interact, like the controller settings, all of it is done in advance. But the best part is the settings of the game. So the first time you load up into a game, the developer has already set up a graphics like
right, Matt Adam, exactly.
I think is like ideal.
Consume. I'll just keep consuming.
Valve has verified it for this system because there's only one hardware configuration with 16.
Micro's always smaller. Look between your legs for confirmation. Boy, you don't know the half of that right now. Oh my God, I could tell you stories.
Gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of VRAM with this performance so that the developers are aware of this exact hardware configuration. They tune a setting to that and they're like, this is the profile that the Steam machines will boot up with so that the moment you play, you don't have to mess with any of that stuff. Now, if you're a PC gamer and you like messing around with it, we take this stuff for granted, right? We are so used to that. Like we were born in the craziness of like having to adjust 1,000 things before you even play. But for a ton of my friends and my kids, they look at that stuff and they're like, ew, like.
I didn't say half a micro. Hey now. No, see, mini is smaller than micro. How is that even possible? Micro sounds smaller than mini. Play People of Note. Fuck that, man. That's not happening. What a bleak living room. This isn't a living room. This is his studio. Come on, guys. This is his... I'm a professional YouTuber with 3.7 million subs. This is my sterile, clean environment with my fish tank that I probably pay somebody to, clean over here that doesn't even appear to have any fish in it. Is Steam Machine gonna be optimized for every game on Steam? I mean, Lucia, that would be, I would imagine the entire. God, this is such a weird situation. Okay, hang on a second. So we all know first-party games that are designed for a console. Like guys, let me kind of like, line this up in my head. You've got Xbox, you got PlayStation, you got Nintendo. We all know, theoretically speaking, I think we can all agree that the console that they're all going to run best on is the one that they are designed for, right? The one that they are optimized for. Nintendo games that are made for Nintendo, when it comes to like, I just don't think this was aimed at us unless for travel, maybe, I don't know. Mini, micro, nano. There's a nano? Oh my God. Anyways, when it comes to Steam, well, Steam isn't making the games like 99.9% of the time. Deadlock is like one of their only, like there's a couple of Steam, like Valve games, all right? Steam is just a storefront. So saying it's optimized for Steam, okay, it's optimized for this, but they can't really optimize each game for this one device because they don't make the games. They're not the developer of the games. Developers of the games are the ones who have to optimize for a system. It's about optimizing for a specific hardware. Yeah, but I'm just looking at this going, with a computer, we all know as computer, owners and PC, gamers and all that, you're not going to, quote unquote, have an optimized game for PC if it was made for PlayStation. They're going to try to make it optimized for PC, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter if you buy it through GOG or through Epic or through Steam. My point is now you have a Steam branded computer, essentially. The developers of a PlayStation game that gets ported to PC aren't going to try to optimize it for the Steam machine, are they? I mean, it just, to me, this is just like getting so diluted. I don't know. Well, I mean, they might promote games that are optimized for this more than the rest. Absolutely. Games on the Steam Deck punch way higher than they should. Interesting. I know, because all I've ever heard from the Steam Deck is there's a lot of games when we talk about games that don't run well or don't function at all on the Steam Deck yet. Apparently, there's a lot of games that just haven't been optimized for the deck yet. Some already do the optimization for the Steam Deck. Well, I mean, if they're trying to treat this as the next... Okay, this goes back to, is it a computer or is it a console, guys? Okay? This goes back to my original thought. Is this being marketed as another console? It's a Steam brand video game console, or is it a Steam computer? Which one is it? Because if you're trying to market it as like a Steam console, and you're trying to get developers of games to create a Steam machine port and optimize their games for that, then that would at least make sense. Yeah, but QC, the thing is, like, I hate handhelds, so I really don't care about the handheld side of things, but I get what you're saying.
Can it play Doom? Open mouth smile.
Can it play Doom? It could probably play the original Doom really well. I view it as a console that can play Steam games. Okay, but the thing is, all consoles, and thank you for the 2, Luigi, I appreciate you, man. All consoles are just a computer, right? They're just a simplified computer that does one thing, and that's just play video games. I mean, that's my retarded layman's view of it anyways. I know you can get a console to do more things, like, again, Xbox has a browser tab and it has apps like Spotify and Hulu, but at the end of the day, the thing that it does well, like a PlayStation, is play the game. It's basically a pre-built PC. Right. So, my point is, developers of games that know that they're going to put those games on PC cannot account for all the variables when it comes to everybody's different PCs that they have, whether someone's using a 9060 or a 4060 or a 5090 or whatever. So they can't optimize it for every single graphics card known to man or every possible configuration. In this situation, they could optimize their games for this specific device. I guess that is a better way of looking at it. I don't know. Just comparing how their hardware performs versus other hardware. Valve's hardware is better optimized in games on Steam versus competitors. Well, there you go. This whole thing to me, it just seems like we're going off in the weeds so much. I don't know. I hate the deck, but it does have it that in its corner. Well, fair enough.
Can we just play Nintendo Switch instead? Because I don't have to mess with that. So I look at this and I'm like, this is so amazing. This is transformative because now you have...
What do you mean a payment plan that will include Game Pass? Do you mean like to pay off the device or just to pay to like lease the thing? That's why it matters that the storefront they use has a standard hardware to use as a base. Yeah, I guess. I'm overthinking it. You know, that doesn't surprise me. Probably does not need a lot of work. It's probably more about adjusting settings, and since it's running with AMD, adjust FSR. I mean, okay, fair. Yeah, I probably am just overthinking the entire thing.
A desktop thing that the enthusiast can still mess around with if we want.
Pay
But
off
if you
device
don't
interest-free.
care for it, if you don't know how to mess around with settings and tweaking things, it just goes into the system. It boots it up automatically, is detected by the whole thing, and it just plays perfectly with great graphics and great frame rate. And like,
So, okay, going back to my original idea, my thought on this entire thing, yes. Okay, so the big developers, big publishers, they will obviously then be able to optimize it for this specific device. But it also accesses your Steam library, and it's going to be able to... I got 500 subs on the line. If you need content for the next 20 minutes, download Mecha Chameleon and win a round painted full Kick green. How is it that I don't even care about Kick at this point, guys. It was what it is. So what about all the games? This is more my thought. All the other games that are not made by big developers and big publishers that are available on Steam because they're indie developers and stuff that you can play obviously on this device, because any game on Steam you can play, right? Like, how are those games going to run on this versus something else? I don't know. I am overthinking it. It's for console users who don't want to pay for yearly online and be stuck with hardware cycles that kick you in the nuts when overpriced first-party titles eventually port to Steam anyway. Yeah. I mean, theoretically speaking, is this thing going to avoid a lot of the pitfalls of building or owning a PC? Because if it is for the PC-minded console enthusiast who doesn't want to think about maintaining a PC and all the updates and driver issues and incompatibilities you might have, if this thing also has an operating system that allows you to treat it as a computer, isn't it just another computer that can have other issues that go wrong? Indies will probably just run. They're not demanding enough to really make you worry about it.
maybe I'm overthinking this, but this, to me, changes the way that PC gaming is, because this has never existed before on a desktop. The Steam Deck could do it, but that's a handheld. This is the first, and I think the only system that could do it, because you need to have a hardware configuration that is locked and no one else can customize it, because the moment you have customizable hardware, now you can't do that, right? You can only do this if it's a locked hardware configuration, and this is it. And this is why the experience is so console-like, that if you just don't want to mess around with nerdy, sweaty stuff, this can do it. But if you built your own system, even if you match the hardware one-to-one somehow, I don't think you'd be able to pull it off. Also, if you built your own system, you couldn't get something this small and this performant and this quiet together.
Well, that's true. You can't build something that small that's going to have that much crap in there. Obviously, that's designed custom to fit in that tiny little cube. This won't go wrong. Again, look at the deck. It's a console. It'll be a streamlined experience. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Can it run Monster Hunter Wilds? I imagine it can. Why? I don't see why it wouldn't. It's a pre-built PC with Steam installed on it instead of Windows, in a smaller, compact configuration than you can get in most of your pre-builds, yes. Only want to be PC gamers. To me, it's a console. That's what I'm saying. It's a console. It's a console, you know? But yeah, I do a bunch of stuff. I edit videos, I do pay my bills, I go online, I watch YouTube, I do all these things on my computer that I have here. Like, I would never want this because I have 2 Xboxes, a Nintendo Switch, and all my old consoles that I never even use. Like, I don't need another console. It would be perfect in Japan. But all of them are PC gamers, aren't they? I know Sony's, I mean, they're all Nintendo Switch users, obviously, but like Sony doesn't do much in Japan anymore. Maybe you're overthinking, but that's a rational question to have. You know, it's all good. The nerdy, sweaty stuff, my brain don't work. I just want to play games. I mean, dude, yeah, exactly. I'm aware it's underpowered for its price, but I know how to tweak settings. Well, but JG, here's the thing. Is it, if we look at it from the specs as PC gamers and look at it and go, this is insane, like these specs are so bad compared to what you can put in a computer, but then like you guys are saying, it's optimized to play the games, and now game developers, publishers are going to have to optimize their games not just to run on PC, but specifically for the hardware here in this one setting. I mean, most people just live off a phone or a tablet. They don't have a PC. Are you saying that I'm an elitist? Are you, QC's calling me an elitist? Do you catch that? Look at that Ace Magic Tank PC. Ace Magic, I don't know about that one. Guys making arguments only console players used to make.
Yeah. Like, I just don't think that would be possible. You would need custom hardware for it. Okay, there's 2 other things I want to mention about the price. So the first
made the
is,
Steam machine
if you look
boring
at the
as
price,
fuck.
it's $10.49, which, if you think about it from the psychological perspective, is so much worse than the simple $9.99. I'm sure Valve would have loved to be able to hit that $9.99 price point. You know, it's below $1,000. I think that the pricing was so tight for them that they couldn't just make $9.99 work, and they had to go with a much less attractive $10.49. The other thing is that I think Valve is so aware of how sensitive the pricing around this product is.
Well, in that case, wise ass duck, I will not be an elitist for probably the next decade. Okay, that's not happening anytime soon. Not unless I win the lottery, and if I do, there'll be signs for sure.
That they even released a statement about all like the component pricing and all that stuff, but they also have this thing about like why they don't want to subsidize. And maybe there's merit to it. Their whole stance is that if you subsidize a product like this, it just makes the ecosystem more closed and it prevents other companies from being able to make hardware like this. It's a whole thing. And in their defense, you know, maybe there is merit to it.
We have 39,
but
there you go.
You know, if this thing was cheap enough and it was like below the cost of what it was like a subsidized product, I think many people would just buy this as like a Windows desktop or like a Linux desktop and not even play games on it, which would be weird, but that would be the natural tendency of people, right? Okay.
Wait, did he just make the argument people are going to buy this instead of a desktop and not play games on it? Did I hear him correctly? I got to play this again. I'm sorry, guys.
They even released a statement about all like the component pricing and all that stuff, but they also have this thing about like why they don't want to subsidize. And maybe there's merit to it. Their whole stance is that if you subsidize a product like this, it just makes the ecosystem more closed and it prevents other companies from being able to make hardware like this. It's a whole thing. And in their defense, you know, maybe there is merit to it. But if if this thing was cheap enough and it was like below the cost of what it was like a subsidized product, I think many people would just buy this as like...
Okay, oh, he's saying if it was cheap enough. Got it. Okay, I'm like, there's no way. My computer's an iPad Pro. Never owned a desktop. I'm basically a console user. I like the Steam Deck, and I'll probably like the Steam Machine. I have no interest in building a PC. Well, okay, but to be fair, you don't have to build a PC. Yes, the elitist mentality, what does Brittany Venti always say on Twitter? My God, the lioness. The lioness doesn't concern herself with the console user, right? No, but like in all honesty, you can still find good pre-built computers. You just have to buy them from like a reputable company. But when it comes down to it, whether you buy a pre-built or build your own, there's something about having a PC that is just a nice thing to have, whether it's for playing games, whether it's just for doing basic like functions or whatever. I mean, look, I use my phone a lot. Like I use my phone way more than I need to, but I don't like tablets, right? And I've never been a big iPhone guy. If I'm going to do something that takes more than like texting is annoying as hell. If I'm going to do something where I want to sit down and type, I don't want to type on my phone. I want to sit at my computer and type, you know? Is it $50, $90, $4,500 now? I believe that was the direction it was heading. SteamCube is less of a scam than a lot of the pre-built computers, but like I buy scams, yeah. So I'm not doubting that this thing will work. So my issue with this is not that it won't, is not that it will work. Of course it'll work for what it is. I have no doubt that it's going to run the way it's advertised as running. For me, it just doesn't make any sense, you know? If Valve can convince devs to put anti-cheat games on Linux, they'd take over the world. It's a huge miss on their hardware for me. The Linux thing, I think the Linux part of it is a huge sell for a lot of people. The thing about it is, though, a lot of people who buy this, who are console normies, aren't going to care that it's running, that you can run Linux on it.
2 terabytes version with controller is 2.2 thousand Australian dollars. See if I'd pay that much for this. Also, who would buy the 500 GB version? You'd only have 5 or so big games. Yeah, and again, Smeg, for a while, I had to uninstall and reinstall games and had to think about, because I was on a data cap, now my internet's back to being unlimited internet, thank God. But, you know, not only did I have limited space on my computer where I have to think, okay, I've got a certain amount of storage space, I have to keep a certain amount of games on there that if I feel like playing them without having to install 140 gigabytes, I also had to balance that against like the data cap I had. So uninstalling a game wasn't just, uninstall and then take an hour to reinstall it. It's, oh shit, that's going to use 140 gigabytes of my data for the month. So that's the memory storage thing is a real big, I don't know, for me, that's just crazy. But thank you for the 5, Smeg. Appreciate you, dude. What have we not done recently? Let me give you something else. Hang on a second. Oh, we can't do it on this screen. I'll hit you up after this video's over. We're almost done. A lot of console normies wouldn't handle Linux well. Yeah. But again, if they don't have to think about the operating system that's on the device itself, then you can't even sell that to them as, but it has Linux. They're going to go, what's that? Console dude doesn't need to care about yeah, exactly.
There are those pre-built PCs that everyone keeps saying exist that are so great. No one names one. I had no idea if these claims are even true. Okay, so JG, this isn't because I have an affiliate link with them. I own a Meta PC for work. It works perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. It's a pre-built PC. So yes, systems like that, systems from like Starforge and other computer companies that are similar, I think are totally cool. No issues from what I've heard. You will occasionally have parts that go bad, but that also happens with people who do pre-built computers as well. I think what it happens is when you go to like Walmart and stuff, the cheaper end, like a lot of times the iBuyPower type computers are the ones that are going to have a lot of issues that do come up. That's just what happens, you know. I had for me, it was a Lenovo Idea Center gaming PC that crapped out after it hit just over a year, to the point where I couldn't take it back to Costco. If it had been under a year, I could, you know. So it's just that you just want to avoid like the cheaper end, I guess, lower end pre-builts is what the situation is.
A Windows desktop or like a Linux desktop and not even play games on it, which would be weird, but that would be the natural tendency of people, right? Okay, so you might think, based on the title of this video, that this is the bad news, that the pricing is the bad news. It is not, because I don't think that this is overpriced. It is expensive, I know. Much more expensive than we were hoping and expecting to be, but I don't think it's overpriced, all things considered. So what is the bad news, Dave? You might be asking. All right, here it is. Because of the supply constraints of components, they were saying that they can't even get some of the components to just have the quantities that they're trying to get. I think it'll be extremely difficult for...
Is he shooting this at his dentist office? Oh my God. How much you want to bet he's got like... No, because these are concrete floors. Usually you see like tile floors, or at least linoleum or something in like medical offices. I don't think I've ever been into a doctor or a dentist that had concrete floors. This has got to be... He had to have like built this in his garage or basement or something, because it's concrete. It's like it's got a seal on it, a polish of some sort. So it's you know, moppable and all that. But I'm pretty sure that's concrete.
People to get this thing. The quantities are so limited that Valve is running like this raffle-based system where you like submit your email and they pick out winners to have the privilege of buying this thing. I've never seen a hardware launch in the gaming space that has been this supply limited. Like they're saying that they're gonna have to go to the end of the year and into the next to be able to fill out that first batch of orders. It's crazy. So yes, Steam Machine, if you're looking for one, if this fits your budget, it's a really cool machine. It's just extraordinarily difficult to get it.
He kind of looks like Amaranth's husband. Shorter hair though. I love that the bad news is, okay, this was a total glazing video. Like, that's crazy. Final conclusion, Steam Deck is not worth it. Guys, at least I watched the 13-minute video. Some of these videos, like Digital Foundry's, is 32 minutes long. All right. IGN has a 12-minute unboxing video. Let me see here. Yeah, some of these videos are crazy long. He looks like his avatar's dad. So my point is, it's crazy that he waits till the end of the video to be like, oh, you thought the price was the bad news. No, the bad news is you might not be able to get one of these. Like, bitch, I can't afford one even if I won the raffle. Like, the bad news is still the price. Like, are you serious right now? That's insane. Hey, Wagon Burner. Dude, I was talking about you earlier. I am currently shadow banned on Twitter. You better be careful, because you have been going non-stop posting those AI edits of the GTA 6 girl. I know you were already like locked out of Twitter for like 2 weeks, dude. You're gonna get flagged for like spam or some shit. You gotta be careful, man. I get it. The GTA meme has been amazing. Like, I made one of Donald Trump. It was hilarious. Is unboxing still a thing? I don't watch unboxing videos. I don't know. I love unboxing new, like back when I was still able to afford computer parts, and you pull them out of the box and you put them all together and you take them out of the box and you pull the plastic. You're up 700 followers in one day. Oh my God. Careful, dude. Don't girl boss too close to the sun, man. Come on. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's how I'm shadow banned on Twitter, man. That's what happened. First, they locked me out of my account because I had to delete a meme that people thought was like offensive. And then I had 2 warnings on my posts for I don't even know which posts they were. And now I'm like completely shadow banned on Twitter. You got to be careful, dude. All right. Hard sale at the moment. Yeah, it's Digital Foundry. There's Yammer and Act Pretentious. The finish on that wall looks very Japanese. There's too much information on PC parts or what is needed for me to know what to get or whatever. I see Steam. I like Steam, so I'm more inclined to try it over spending the same. And see, JG, that's the thing. I think that there's a real, there's a reality. There's a large percentage of people who don't want to have to think about parts, about what brand, about what's compatible, and everything else. And they go, well, I want the advantage of being able to play computer games because, I mean, look, you can have like the PlayStation guys and the Sony shills and all that. They're always like, oh, look on my PS. Well, I've got some tweets pulled up we can talk about. Like the Sony ponies is Wagon Millie Alcock. No, my God. No. Why would you say that? Oh my God. Anyways, it's going to take you to a local shop with a connector on a 4-inch cord and have it dangle out from the back of a thing. What are we talking about? Oh my God. Steam's making a console to appeal to console players. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I'm hating on it because I can't afford it. Even if I bought one, where the hell would I put it? Hook it up to my TV? Why? Like, what's the point? It doesn't make any sense. No, Smeg, it's not for the best. It's enjoyable. It's fun. Okay, I have to make sure that my Twitter account pays for itself. At this point now, I've paid for 3 or 4 years of Twitter. It's like, that's cool, you know? But then, you know they'll up the price at some point. So it has to pay for itself. Duct tape in my hat, make it portable. Plenty to be retarded as ever. Everyone says that, saying this shit's too expensive. Meanwhile, they're acting like PC gamers are glazing the prices. Yeah, dude, it's insane. So let me pull these up for you. Hang on. The tweets that I have, I think the first one's from Kata. No, this is the Steam Machine one. Yeah, so I put this on here. It said, my first PC build 7 years ago cost less and had better specs. And people are like, oh, you know, Angry Man yells at clouds because he can't afford what he could back in, like, this sounds like the 1940s stuff. I'm like, guys, here's the thing. I know that things cost more post-pandemic than they did pre-pandemic. Look, I work in an industry, in a business where I had a customer at an event a couple weeks back, really pissed me off. She's like, oh, I need to stock up. I haven't bought your stuff in forever. I'm like, oh, when was the last time you bought from us? Oh, 2019. I'm like, okay. Wow, it's a very different world. My prices have gone up like 20% since then. That's it. And she was shocked at prices. And I'm like, you do realize that in 7 years, 6 to 7 years, how much things have changed, right? So I'm aware of that. Like, I get that part of it. But people are like, acting like 7 years is the same thing as how a newspaper used to cost a nickel or a cup of coffee was a quarter. I'm not saying that, a graphics card that was $200 back then shouldn't be $350 now. But it's the fact that look at the RAM shortage. Look at the RAM prices. 6, 7. Why are you guys doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? I knew somebody was going to say that shit. It's not equivalent to like comparing inflation and adjusting for inflation and the wages people used to make back in the 1930s to now, as computer parts used to cost something 7 years ago versus what they cost now. It's gone up 30% since then. Are we talking about since 2019? Yeah, pandemic was basically double the price in 4 to 6 years. It's not a natural rise in pricing. Like, look at my rent. Look at the cost of living has outpaced increase in wages by like, what, triple or some shit like that? Well, yeah, Cube Name Frank, you're not wrong. Hell, we're probably even allowed to say that on YouTube now. Back then, we couldn't even say that. Real wages are lower, inflation goes up, and it doesn't go back down. Yeah, it's insane. It's complete shit. But people are like, oh, this is the equivalent. No, it's not the equivalent. Because back then, you could also do the whole, well, you could live on a one income household and he could buy a car and buy a house and everything else, and you can't do shit nowadays. The cost of living and increase of stuff obviously isn't real. Yeah, it's all fake. Right, wise ass duck. So that's the thing. We were talking about that. What are the current prices? Let me look this up. I'm not going to pull up Amazon because it's probably going to show my information. But what is the current pricing for like a 4090 or a 5090? Let me see here. Yep, on Amazon. This is external. No, that's a different system. Asus ROG Astral NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 16 gig is $1842. Ooh, the Asus TUF Gaming GeForce RTX 5090 triple fan GPU is $62.99 on Amazon. Oh my God, CyberGeek, I've never even heard of that brand. 5090 for $46.99, MSI $46.99. Yeah. So if you guys were asking about the 5090s, that's what we're out to is $45,000 for a 5090. Cost the same as a used Honda. Yeah, exactly. 4090s and 5090s are the most common fake cards sold in secondhand markets. I believe it. 100%. This is what I'm talking about. So a 5080 for a couple $1,000s, but you can go to Costco right now and buy a 5080 pre-built with a terabyte of storage, with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and everything else that goes with it, and it costs you less than $2,000. So it's absolutely insane, the markup on these parts. You know, PC hardware is insanity. Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. I'm not an AI hater, but I absolutely hate that the AI is causing this shit, you know? And it's not the only factor. Look, the pandemic, the entire world getting fucked over and shut down for a few years was absolutely the part of that what's caused all this to be the way it is. No question asked. With fans that transform your living room into an airport. Oh, man. 2 terabyte Xbox card is like $300. Yeah, memory is just insane, dude. That's Costco. That's a buyout, likely. Mac Mini with the M4 Pro chip, it costs us $1,400 with 512. This is a better deal than the Steam Machine. You'd have to ask somebody who was more knowledgeable than me. I don't know. I'm not as good with generations or like individual processors as I am with like understanding the age of GPUs and stuff, which series came out first and all that. And then of course like AMD and Intel, it's like everyone has their own opinion on that. I think AMD typically right now is the one that people tend to view more favorably. NVIDIA and their super monopoly. So Cassie here says they really raised the price of the Steam Deck for no reason, just to make the scam machine look like a deal. Well, you remember, guys, they just raised the rates, the price on the Steam Deck by like $300, and they're not even in stock. That's the craziest part. IGN gives the Steam machine an 8. Oh my God, bigger issues. We don't have the energy for this. Oh man. Parts without power to plug it all in. AMD CPU, NVIDIA GPU, best combo. I've heard that. I have heard that. My kids actually have the opposite in theirs. No, actually, no, I take that back. They've got, no, it's Intel and NVIDIA. Intel processor and then the 4060s in there. Steam Machine at $1049 is a bit too expensive to take on the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but even at that seemingly high price, it's still one of the cheapest and almost certainly the easiest way to get into PC gaming right now. I got that combo. Bet you can get a refurbished PC for cheaper than this shit. No, it's not. How much did they pay you to say this? You can literally buy a pre-built PC for the same price that blows this thing out of the water. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's one thing to say this thing is going to be optimized. It's a console for people who don't want to have to think about a PC and everything else. It's another thing to say it's cheaper or easier than having a PC or buying a PC. That's insane. Did IGN rate Xbox X or PS5? So I think this next post, yeah, they gave the PS5 Pro a 7. Oh my God. PS5 Pro is nearly $1,000. QC, I know, man. It's crazy. It's the whole world. It's everything is just fucked at this point. I have a search suggestion ban. Yeah, I kind of figure that's probably what it is. I didn't even bother looking it up. This KJN guy, I know he's a real piece of shit, says there are PCs with better specs, way better specs for that price. So to say the cheapest for that price range is a joke. And IGN marked down PS5 Pro mostly due to price. You guys are so inconsistent. I mean, wouldn't be a day ending why if IGN wasn't being completely retarded. Let's face it. You can buy pre-built for that money. Easy to set up, and you can upgrade the parts. Can't do that on a Steam machine. I mean, Angels, but I agree with you, but I'm coming at that from as somebody who has no, like, I have no fear of replacing a part in my PC. So some people are going to instantly mentally check out. Like JG is going to instantly not go, I don't want anything to do with that. That's not something that I'm interested in, you know? Oh no, I know about KJN. He's an actor. KJN's it's more than just like a Sony pony. He's a real piece of shit. I mean, a core issue is YouTube, TikTok, and so on. What are we talking about? Pros was worse given it wasn't really a major upgrade to their prior system. Jez Gordon, Windows Central, says Sam Altman is to blame for the Steam machine price, by the way. This guy here says, incorrect. Gabe makes money hand over fist. They chose to add a Valve tax. I don't know what you guys think about that. Like the actual price. It is really funny. And I know that Gabe is on the thumbnail and stuff with the classic meme and all that. I'm not even like pissed off at him specifically. It's just the general way that the industry has gone at this point, you know? Money is higher monetizing people watching games than playing them. That's not wrong. You're not wrong there. Did they mark the PS5 Pro down for the price before or after the part price hike? I don't know. When is this review from? You'd have to go look it up. I don't know what the date on this is. You'd have to go and compare that. So it says, but for $700, you'll need to think twice about whether or not the upgrade is worth the price. This was before the markup. Gabe gets a pass. Fuck Sam Altman. Fair enough. So this was before the price hike, right? Because now the price for a PS5 Pro is over $1,000, isn't it? The communist take, Gabe makes money, so they should be losing money on the Steam machine. Yeah, that is basically the low, like, layman retarded take to have, you know? Oh yeah, then you got these guys. Me with my PS5 Pro after seeing the Steam machine prices. This guy's just a complete retard. So I could take a picture of myself hugging my PC right now. It would have the exact same effect. If he had to go and replace this PS5 Pro right now, it would cost him $300 to $400 more than he probably purchased it for, right? So I don't understand the point of these posts other than, I mean, it gets a lot of clicks, gets a lot of views. So well done for an engagement farming. But like, other than that, I don't understand. He's one of these guys that because he's a big dude, he probably thinks I can make up for the fact that I look like a soy bitch by the fact that I got big arms and big muscles. And it's like, you still look like a soy bitch, dude. I don't care how big your arms are. What a Chad photo, yeah. PS5 Pro is $900 right now, so plus tax, you're going to be paying close to $1,000. Is that with a controller or not? Consoles also have extra costs like having to pay to use the internet. You already pay for to play online games. Switch 2 games are way overpriced for... Dude, Switch 2... Here's the thing. I would rather, when we talk about console versus PC, we don't even include Nintendo. Because the Switch 2, like, you're talking to somebody that grew up on Nintendo. Like, I loved Nintendo growing up. And I still wish I could love them now. It's like at this point, it's really PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and Nintendo is doing their own thing. I don't even like include Nintendo in the whole console war thing, right? It comes with a controller? Okay. We haven't been hit by the real price increases yet. I'm not looking at gaming when making that argument. Oh my God. Please. Please, no more. Susano, no more. I just can't. I just can't. Oh my God. At least I can play, yeah, 5 exclusives, exactly. Switch 2 is the Apple of gaming. Yeah, it's just, they're just doing their own thing. And unfortunately, they can charge whatever they want to because their fans, their fanboys are going to pay literally whatever they tell them to. Even we console guys don't count Nintendo. And it's not that it's not a console, and it's not that they're competing with PC or any of those other weird, like different circumstances. It's the fact that they just, I don't know. Twitch started lagging. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I try to like pay attention to both, but Twitch, I don't know. I'm not even on Rumble tonight. I didn't bother setting up the Rumble stream. I just got the stream started like a few minutes late. And I'm like, screw Rumble. I've got Kick going, but Kick, I don't really even have any viewership on. I left Xbox. I've never been happier. I mean, I still use Game Pass, you know. And now that Asha Sharma got the price down a little bit, it's a little more reasonable. Nib! I know we all love Nib, the retard that he is. Steam machine pricing just made the already expensive PS5 look like an absolute bargain. Bitch, what? What? Remember all the PC guys that called PS5 Pro prices a scam? Yeah, hope they don't choke on that crow. Just buy a PS5 or a PS5 Pro, LOL. Oh my god. This is the definition of an actual, like, functional retard. Somebody who can't see that two things being wrong doesn't make, like one, like, they're both bad. Neither one of these things is good because the one thing is worse than the other. Yeah, Laufey and Heretic Prophet, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Does this guy not realize that you have a whole library of Steam games? With Steam, you get games significantly cheaper, games that, you know, you'd never have access to on PlayStation. Look, part of the reason that Steam is getting sued is because they have a market, like an exclusivity on all these games, and the argument is that, well, you're price gating and you can charge whatever you want to. Yeah, but how many times does Steam have games to go on sale? Like 7 times a year. You'll have like these massive discounts. You know how many times I've almost bought RoboCop for $4 on Steam? A game that is normally at full price like $60. Okay? Like, it's insane. The amount of games on Steam that are full price on console most of the year, or maybe marked down 20% for like a special sale, that you can pay like pennies on the dollar compared to these other places. It's insane. More of that one lawsuit against Valve at the moment. I haven't run into that. Yeah, I'm just using that as an example, right? Part of that is because they have such an the exclusives really are PC, because they have games that will never make it onto a console, like ever. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm constantly getting notifications of games that I have had on wish lists for like 5 years that I could buy for less than a cup of coffee. Right? It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Lowering 30% wouldn't even make the games cheaper because Steam doesn't set the price. I know that, and you know that. Difference is PS5 Pro is already on the shelves. Plus, Sony has been talking about like time locking games and some BS. Well, and again, the crazy part too is you get situations like when you have a game. For example, let's talk about the whole Stellar Blade 2 situation where they decided, you know what, fuck Sony. Yes, we'll put the game on PlayStation, but we're also going to put it on Xbox. We're also going to put it on Nintendo Switch 2. We're also going to put it on PC day one. So Stellar Blade is like the prime example of what could have been. The game has sold, I think the numbers I saw from like last year was like 6.4 million units, and they sold 1 million units in 3 days on PC, a year after the game already existed on PlayStation, right? And it had 3 million sales on PlayStation. 3 million or 1 million copies in 3 days, and up to like 2.6 or whatever the 6 million copies sold on PC so far. You're talking about a game that was out for a full year before it went on PC. So the reality is, this whole argument of exclusive with Sony versus PC and shit, it's like maybe if you put everything on both PC and PlayStation day one and let the numbers speak for themselves, you might be surprised. But no, there's like this weird hive mind tribalistic bullshit you get from like the Sony fanboys where they can't accept reality. Like, hey, maybe the reason our games don't sell well on PC is because they've been out for a year before they go to PC. And by then people have already either gotten bored, moved on to something else, spent their money on a different game, or they've heard enough negative shit about the game that they don't want to buy it, you know? Sony and Xbox also charge a licensing fee for releasing on console. Is that true? Nintendo super fans are super duper funny, endless retardation. I love it. Guys, Harmon Smith followed me on Twitter like a month or two ago. I forgot to mention that at one point. I saw him pop up in my follow notifications, and I took a screenshot. I sent it to Cassie. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know why this happened. I only know Harmon Smith because of people like Cassie and Vertanga. Like, they're the only people I've ever seen covering his content, and I'm like, oh my God. Not a follow I'd want. Susano, I didn't even interact with the guy. All of a sudden, I just saw him pop up on my notifications. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Don't want to touch that cat. He's the guy, he's an author. He's like a hardcore Nintendo fanboy retard, and he also writes like really shitty books. Yeah. Dark Souls Remaster was half off at $20 on Xbox. I bought on CD keys for like $6.50. Well, that's the other thing too, Cage, is you can always buy games on third-party sites for PC, and they tend to have bigger like varieties than you do for like console games. Do you want to pay full price on a 1-year-old game? Exactly, no. Who would do that? I see that dude pop up on YouTube, but he streams to like 4 people. He is essentially like a lesser known DSP, I think, is my take on it for what I've seen. I kind of feel like he's just kind of like, he's like a Walmart or Temu version of DSP. I don't know. But yeah, this is the kind of shit that I've been seeing. Oh, speaking of the Walmart pre-builts, so here you go. Kata shared this and says, not Valve getting bodied by a Walmart pre-built. Acer Nitro 60 gaming desktop Intel Core Ultra 5 processor 225F. NVIDIA, Intel processors crack me up. It's like, you know, AMD's make sense when you read them. I'm like, did you say 225F? Do you say 225? Like, how do you read this? NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060, 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes of DDR5, 1 terabyte SSD, $898 on Walmart. I mean, most of what you're paying for there is the RAM sticks, the graphics card, and the processor. Obviously the SSD too, but like the rest of this, I don't know enough about. I don't know enough about Acer to really trust that. Third-party sites don't work. PS suck at ponies. Yeah. Does he beg? I don't know if he begs, man. I have no idea. All I know is he's a lol cow, but like you said, only 4 people watch him. At least DSP has some regular viewership from people who truly like milk him for content. That's the kind of Intel CPU that you don't buy. Right, Avernum? Like, I don't even know enough about the number system for Intel, but like typically they're like 12,700F or 1 terabyte shit. Yeah, but it's expensive. Like, I was thinking of adding one more because I've got another M2 slot on my motherboard that I've never used, and I need another terabyte or 2 of memory because I'm always having to worry about how much space I have on my computer. Because I've only got I've got the 1 gigabyte hard drive, it's a 2 terabyte hard drive. But I don't want to have to put games on my hard drive because they don't run as well. So then I only have the 512 gigabyte SSD that I built the computer with and the 1 terabyte M2, and I have another slot, but it's like, they're what, $300 for a really good one, you know? Day 1 on everything, no day patches. How dare you? We need to live in this tribal mess and scream on X. Dude, for real. Exactly. Phil has 10 people? I don't know. I've never tuned into a Phil live streamed before. All I see is the clips on Twitter, you know? 4 terabyte external. Well, that's the thing. Externals always tend to be cheaper. I've got one of those kicking around here. I got at Costco for like $60, one of those Seagate external hard drives. It might be like a 16 gig, but again, it's a hard drive. It's not a SSD. And the whole thing about putting games on your hard drive versus SSD is they're not going to run as well. I learned that the hard way with Starfield of all games. Was about $100 per terabyte at one point. Haven't even risked. I don't even want to look. Oh, the Mina the Hollower thing. Oh yeah, yeah, Smeg. That's why I've never even plugged it into my computer. It's just a Seagate backup hard drive. It's like, I don't know. It's like 8 or 16 terabyte. Is there a manufacturer name attached to that 5080? Let me. Again, I don't want to dox myself. Let me click on the link. No. No, it doesn't give you a manufacturer name on the graphics card at all. Just that it's a 5060. And really, a 5060 8 gigabyte, that's not even... Like, I don't want to be an elitist. I don't want to be a snob. That's really not a great card. Like, for the price, you're better off... Look, 9060 was like $350 when it came out. That really is like the best value you can get for a card these days, and now I don't know that you can still get them, you know? I have no idea. 1 terabyte for operating system and 2 terabyte for game storage. Yeah, I mean, 2 terabyte for game storage would be enough for me for the amount of games I have on my computer at one time. It's just that I'm dealing with like 1.5 terabyte for operating system and game storage and stuff. So most hard drive failures are always Seagate. I believe it's Smeg. It's just the cheapest one that I bought it on clearance at Costco. It was like a $200 value thing that I got for like $60 on clearance. I've never even used the thing. XDs are great, plus Series X games need to be on ID. Oh, my booty I bought on the high seas. Yeah, if you're using the external... IRL, he's my neighbor. Nah, man, I think we're on the opposite sides of the country. No, for real, it's like, if you're using that external hard drive for some CD shit that you don't care about, whether it gets, like, crapped out or not, that's one thing, but in general, that's, I don't know. You gotta be careful what you store all your shit on. Would never risk buying something like that? Yeah. Well, again, you guys were talking about the Walmart PCs. That's kind of what you get with the Walmart PCs. You kind of get what you pay for. At least when you go to like Costco. And this is, again, I'm going to glaze Costco, guys. I live there. You know, when it's not baseball season, I'm at Costco twice a week typically. But really, when it comes down to it, even like the less reputable brands, they at least have like the MSI and the other, the brands that are recognizable, like Asus and everything else. Those are the parts they have in there. And they have like MSI motherboards, which tend to be decent. Or, like the tough gaming ones. Like my motherboard is awesome. And I've had this thing for 7 years now. So... anyways, God, I don't think we're going to get to anything else tonight because it's almost midnight. Holy shit. I remember the Seagate Barracuda days. I think those were some dog shit 72 gigabyte HDDs. 72 gigabytes. That's tiny. That is crazy. Like, holy shit. That's nuts. Plus, it's full desktop, whereas the mini PCs that run as well as the Steam machine, it's like those are just... All right, let's do this. Since we're talking about PCs anyways, and this is, again, not a plug... This is not me trying to sell you a PC through Meta PCs. I'm just curious because we talk about it. Okay. That's crazy, DDR4. I haven't seen them advertise DDR4 in a PC in a long time. That's crazy. Here's a Ryzen 5. This is a 9600X. 16 gigabytes DDR5, 1 terabyte Kingston NV3 NVMe SSD, 650 watt power supply, the B60 650M plus Wi-Fi motherboard. That's a decent motherboard. Like I'm a big fan of Asus. 1649. God, this shit's gotten so expensive. That is crazy. That is crazy. Ryzen 5 is stinky. Oh, man. But it's got the 9060. It's got the 16 gig. That's what I got. Is it AS? No, mine is the... Oh, wait, mine is AS Rock. I got the Steel Legend, though. I got the white one with the LED screen. Asus sucks? Hey, man. I've had good luck with Asus. Looks like on my free time, I have to scrub my posts. What free time? I don't have free time, dude. Totally a plug. If it was a plug, I would have dropped a link in the chat, dude. I have an Asus tough build except for the GC. Yeah, I like Asus. Something on here in the 1050 range. You'd have to drop back to like the 5500. I think they showed. Hang on a second. I mean, you get like 2% off with my code. That's not going to save you much. I don't know if any of the bigger creators, like if you were to use Ricky Berwick's link and code, I don't know if you get anything more than 2% off with his either. But for example, they got this guy here. This is probably the cheapest one they got. GeForce RTX 5060, Ryzen 5 5500, 16 gigabytes DDR4. I cannot believe how expensive stuff has gotten. That is crazy. 1149. AMD Radeon RX 7600, Ryzen 5 5500, 16 gigabytes DDR4. It's that time the ad read. No Instant Gaming. I haven't been on Instant Gaming in forever. I haven't even looked at their shit because I haven't been buying any games. I have not been buying. Guys, somebody, one of you guys in the last month or two bought like $200 worth of games on Instant Gaming. And I discovered I had like $16 in my account on there to use. I'm like, what the fuck? I had no idea. You know, I'm like, that's amazing. But like, I haven't even thought about buying a game on there in forever. It's just nuts. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. This would run Apex Legends at 163 frames per second. That's not possible. Really? This configuration here? Huh. Now, fit that next to your living room PC and have fun controlling Windows with your keyboard and mouse. Again, not the same thing. Makes more sense to compare this to a console. Yeah. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. And again, when you compare it to a console and you look at that like apples to apples, well, the Steam console, you get Steam's library. Xbox is limited to whatever is on Xbox, PlayStation is limited to whatever is on PlayStation, and so on and so forth. How would it compare with the Steam machine? I don't know.
Thank you very much, sir.
You'd have
You're
to
a
compare that
gentleman
with
and a
somebody
scholar.
or talk to somebody about that who actually is. Like, again, I am a passable PC nerd. I am not a fine-tuned specs nerd. I'm not that kind of like I am not that detailed when it comes down to like all that. Oh no, Wagon Burner, you sent me the specs on this. Yeah, I've seen this shit before. Trust me, I know there's my account is like hardcore fucked over on Twitter right now. Trust me, I know. He doesn't set his fan curve. You made the list and it was so funny. Oh my god, Matt Adam, that's the craziest thing. Okay. I went through the list. I think I did this on stream last time. I'm like, okay. Hypocritical, name exactly what I've been hypocritical about. Shilling for keys. I could have gotten a key for 007 and I didn't want one because the game looked like shit, right? Beyond that, I get keys for a bunch of indie games, many of which I have crapped on. The whole Luna Abyss thing, I give myself a bunch of credit for because I really made it, like, brought a lot of attention to that game that most other people had never heard of, and I got a free key for that game. Did I shill for the game? No, I did not. For Ex Voto, I had to buy a copy of that game because they wouldn't give me a copy of it, and then I shit on the game some more. This whole... Dude, Yorch... I don't even get mad because the guy, he just says shit and it just is there. It doesn't have any meaning or substance behind it. It's just there. And then when you watch him and JDA suck each other off in the comments, it cracks me up. It's like, that is the like gayest thing I've ever seen. Irish titties? Who's got Irish titties? No, I appreciate it, Wagon Burner. I'm just going to have to go through, I guess, and delete a bunch of shit. I don't know. Oh, they're boyfriends. They're gayer than Pride Month, man. Not even kidding. All right, guys, I'm probably going to wrap this up because I got a long day, long week ahead of me of all the shit you'd expect. And I didn't even shower today. I need a shower. It's so bad. All right, I'm going to dump you guys over off on Empress. I think she's playing... Looks like Sniper Elite. That's a decent game. All right. Later, guys. I'm going to get some sleep. Hopefully, I don't know. JG, hopefully you actually can make a sound decision and a choice on like what you want to pick up in the future. I'm not going to try to steer you one direction or the other. I would say if you want the convenience of a console and you don't want to have to deal with owning a PC, obviously the Steam machine would be a quote-unquote no-brainer. It's just, for me, I could never rationalize spending that kind of money on it, you know? That's just, for me, that's just, I don't know. Can we get one less commercial for Meta PCs? No. No, not happening. I'm sorry. I'm not that good at grifting or at shilling. It's just not in my nature. I apologize. All right, yeah, Wagburner, I'll try to take a look at that and see what I can do. I might just need to just stop posting on Twitter for a while. You know, I don't care. It's whatever. Twitter's retarded. Twitter's not real. It's like the rest of the internet. Yeah, Matt Adam, I've got some ideas. There's some stuff I haven't really touched on yet. We'll see. Yeah, T-Brand T. How about barking Melanie as a send-off? You son of a bitch. Fine. All right. We're gonna do this thing. Hang on a second. We're gonna do this. Here you guys go. Just because he asked for it.